Imagine you have this massive factory floor. You've got 5 identical machines, and they are just humming away.
Right.
Together, those 5 machines produce 5 toys in exactly 5 minutes. So someone comes along and says, great, let's scale this up.
Make it bigger?
Yeah, exactly. They bring in 100 machines to make 100 toys. So for you listening right now, how many minutes does it take?
Such a great question.
Right. If your brain just immediately screamed 100 minutes, well, congratulations. You are a perfectly normal human being.
Yeah, you are.
And you also just fell into one of the most brilliantly designed cognitive traps ever put on paper.
It really is a beautiful trap. I mean, our brains are incredibly efficient, but that efficiency comes at a cost.
For sure.
We look at the numbers, 5, 5, 5, and when we see 100, 100, our brain just desperately wants to complete the symmetrical pattern.
You completely bypass the actual logic of how a machine works.
Exactly. We just turn off the critical thinking.
Well, welcome to this comprehensive deep dive. Today, we are not just doing a standard review. We are decoding a psychological obstacle course.
We really are.
We are examining Model Set 1 of the NMMS. That's the National Means Come Merit Scholarship Mental Ability Test, specifically the one designed for Class 8 students.
And the stakes for the students taking this, they are profound.
It's a big deal.
This isn't just about getting a good grade on a Tuesday. Success here is a golden ticket.
Right.
It unlocks vital financial scholarship support from Class 9X all the way through Class 12. It is literally a stepping stone that can carry a student straight into the university of their choice.
It is a massive opportunity to showcase academic excellence. But as we just saw with that machine question, this test doesn't care if you've memorized the dates of historical battles or like the periodic table.
Not at all.
It tests something much deeper. It tests your ability to see the invisible rules governing the world, to look at chaos and extract the pattern.
Which is exactly why I'm here. For this session, I want you to view me as your teacher and your guide.
I'm ready.
We are going to take a calm, structured, and a highly strategic approach. We have 90 questions in front of us.
90 questions.
In the real exam, a student has exactly 90 minutes. That is 1 minute per question.
Wow, that is fast.
It is. But we aren't just going to read you an answer key today. We are going to break down the hidden cognitive intent behind every single question.
I love that.
I want you to master the how and the why so deeply that the multiple choice options just become an afterthought.
I am so ready for this.
Eh?
We are going to build an agile mind today. So let's start at the very foundation of logic, section 1, which is number and letter series, questions 1 through 10.
The basics.
Yeah. When we talk about finding patterns, why do test makers always start with numbers and letters?
Well, because numbers and letters are the most stripped down objective data points we have.
That makes sense.
There is no emotional baggage attached to the number 6 or the letter C,
Yeah, right.
The intent behind this first section is to test your brain's raw capacity to measure gaps and recognize foundational mathematical behaviors. Things like arithmetic growth, geometric expansion, prime distributions.
Okay, so what's the strategy?
The golden strategy here is universally simple. Always check the mathematical difference between adjacent terms first.
Get to gaps.
Exactly. Let's test that theory. Question 1 gives us this sequence. 2, 6, 12, 20, 30, and it asks for the next number.
Okay, let's unpack this. If I just look at the raw numbers, my first instinct is to, build a staircase in my mind. From 2 to 6, I'm stepping up by 4.
Good. Keep building the staircase.
Right. So 6 to 12 is a step up of 6. Then 12 to 20 is a step of 8. And 20 to 30 is a step of 10. Okay, so the steps themselves aren't equal.
Exactly. And this tests what we call second-order differences.
Second-order differences.
Yeah. The sequence of the gaps themselves, 4, 6, 8, 10, is forming its own simple linear pattern. They are growing by 2 each time.
Oh, I see it.
So the brain has to hold the first pattern in working memory, recognize the second pattern, and then project it forward. The next gap must be 12.
So I just take that 12, add it to the last number, 30, and I get 42. It's essentially a pattern within a pattern.
Precisely. The answer is option 3, which is 42. But let's see what happens when the test maker changes the underlying physics of the sequence.
Okay.
Look at question 2. The numbers are 3, 9, 27, 81.
Let me try the gap strategy again. 3 to 9 is plus 6. 9 to 27 is plus 18. 27 to 81 is plus 54.
How does that feel?
That staircase is turning into a sheer cliff face.
Right. And that feeling of this is getting too big too fast is exactly the intuition the test wants you to develop.
Oh, okay.
When numbers explode upward, addition is just the wrong tool. The intent here is a geometric series. We are looking at compounding multiplication.
Oh, I see it now. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. We are just scaling by a factor of 3 every time.
Spot on.
So I have to multiply 81 by 3, which gives me 243.
That is the answer, option 2. Human brains evolved to understand linear additive growth, like gathering apples one by one.
Yeah, simple counting.
Exactly. We are notoriously bad at intuitively grasping exponential multiplicative growth. This question forces you to override your linear instinct.
That's fascinating.
Now, question 3 requires pattern recognition rather than pure calculation. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25.
Oh, as someone who spent way too much time doing times tables as a kid, these jump right off the page. They are perfect squares.
Yes, they are. 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared.
It's a nice relief.
It is, but as a student, having these memorized up to at least 20 squared is non-negotiable. It saves you crucial cognitive load during the test. Naturally, the next term is 6 squared.
Which gives us 36. Correct option 2. That one feels easy. But then we hit question 4, and I think the test maker is just like messing with us.
Let's hear it.
Find the next number. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. If I map the gaps, it goes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. That doesn't help at all. And it's definitely not multiplication.
This is actually one of the most famous sequences in human history. The intent here isn't to test your ability to measure an external gap. No, it's to see if you can find the relationship internal to the sequence itself. Have you ever heard of the Fibonacci sequence?
Yes. It's the one found in nature, right? Like the spirals of a pine cone or a seashell.
Exactly. It models biological growth perfectly because the rule relies on the past building the future.
Okay, so how does it work mathematically?
Each term is the sum of the two terms directly preceding it. So 1 plus 1 creates the 2. Then the 1 plus 2 creates the 3. 2 plus 3 creates 5. 3 plus 5 is 8.
That is so deeply elegant. It requires you to look backward to move forward.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
So to get the next number, I just add the 5 and the 8 together, which gives me 13. I love that one. Option 3.
It is elegant. But question 5 is where things get slightly messy again. The sequence is 5, 11, 23, 47.
Okay, let's try gaps. Plus 6, plus 12, plus 24. Oh, wait, the gaps are doubling. 6, 12, 24. So the next gap should be 48. 47 plus 48 is 95. Is that it? Option 2.
That is one perfectly valid way to solve it. But there is a second way to view this, which reveals what we call a compound rule.
A compound rule?
Yeah, it's not just adding and it's not just multiplying. It's both simultaneously. Take the 5, multiply it by 2 to get 10, then add 1 to get 11.
Oh, wow. Let me trace that. 11 times 2 is 22, plus 1 is 23. 23 times 2 is 46, plus 1 is 47. 47 times 2 is 94, plus 1 is 95.
See?
Wow. Both methods, the doubling gaps and the multiply then add rule, lead to the exact same answer of 95.
That is the beauty of mathematics. Multiple logical paths lead to the exact same objective truth.
Okay, I'm feeling confident.
Good, because for question 6, the test shifts gears entirely. We move from numbers to letters, find the next pair. A, Z, B, Y, C, X, D, W.
My brain immediately protests. I mean, letters don't have mathematical value. I can't multiply a C.
No, but they do have a strict sequential order. The alphabet is a spatial construct. For letter series, the strategy is to fragment your attention.
Fragmented how?
Don't look at AZ as a single unit. Break it down. Look only at the first letters of each pair. A, B, C, D.
Okay, well, that's just the alphabet moving forward one step at a time.
Yeah.
The next first letter has to be E.
Exactly. Now look at the second letters. Z, Y, X, W.
Oh, that's the alphabet moving in reverse.
Yeah.
Stepping backward one at a time. Before W comes V. So you put them back together and you get EV. Option 1.
Exactly. The cognitive load here is dual tracking. The test wants to see if your working memory can hold a forward progression in one hand and a backward progression in the other without dropping either.
It's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach.
It really is. Question 7 tests skip patterns. B, D, F, H.
That feels like the training wheels version of the last one. I'm just skipping every other letter.
Let's hear it.
B, skip C, land on D, D, skip E, land on F, F, skip G, land on H. So after H, I skip I and land on J, option 2.
Simple enough. Question 8 adds a layer. Find the next pair. A, B, D, E, G, H, J, K.
Okay, fragmentation strategy again. If I look at just the first letters, A to D, D to G, G to J.
And the pattern is?
Well, A is position 1, D is 4, G is 7, J is 10. They're jumping by 3.
Excellent. You intuitively converted the letters to their numerical positions.
Yeah.
That is a pro strategy.
It just makes it easier to handle.
So if J is 10 plus 3 is 13, which is the letter M, and since the pairs are just consecutive letters A and B, D and E, the pair starting with M must be MN.
Which is option 2. Converting them to numbers makes it so much more concrete. Let's look at question 9. Z, X, V, T.
It's the exact same mechanic as question 7, but running in reverse. The brain is generally slower at reciting the alphabet backward. We just don't practice it.
Yeah, I literally have to sing the alphabet song in my head to find my place.
They all do.
Before T is S, skip it, land on R. The answer is R, option 2. It takes a second longer just because of the unfamiliarity.
And that hesitation is precisely what they are testing. Wrapping up this section, question 10 brings us back to numbers 2, 5, 10, 17, 26.
Let me check the gaps. Plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, plus 9. Oh, the gaps are consecutive odd numbers.
Right.
So the next gap should be plus 11. 26 plus 11 gives me 37. Option 3.
Spot on. But again, there is a secondary hidden structure. Think back to our perfect squares from question 3. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. Compare those to these numbers.
Wait, 1, 4, 9.
Oh.
Every single number here is exactly 1 higher than a perfect square.
Draco.
1 squared plus 1 is 2. 2 squared plus 1 is 5. 5 squared plus 1 is 26. So the next is 6 squared, which is 36, plus 1 is 37.
Yes.
It's fascinating how a sequence can be defined by the gaps or by its proximity to perfect squares.
That mental flexibility is the hallmark of a strong logical thinker. And you'll need it as we transition into section 2, which is analogy, covering questions 11 through 20.
Analogies, okay.
If the first section was about finding mathematical progression, this section is about finding relational equivalence. We're building invisible bridges between concepts.
I actually love analogy questions. It feels less like math and more like philosophy. Like, how do two totally different things relate to each other?
Precisely. The intent here is recognizing defining characteristics. Is the relationship based on physical coverings, workplaces, tool functions, or biology?
So what's the trick?
The ultimate foolproof strategy for analogy questions is to form a strict, specific sentence linking the first two words. Then you apply that exact same sentence word for word to the third concept to find the answer.
Make a sentence. Got it.
Let's demonstrate with question 11. Cat is to kitten as dog is to what?
Okay, my strict sentence would be, the young offspring of a cat is called a kitten.
Good, apply it.
So I apply it. The young offspring of a dog is called a puppy. The answer is puppy. Option 2.
It seems obvious, but strictly adhering to the sentence structure prevents you from making careless associative errors later on. Let's try cutter. Question 12. Hand is to glove as foot is to what?
My sentence. A glove is an article of clothing specifically designed to cover and protect a foot. Therefore, a shoe is an article of clothing specifically designed to cover and protect a foot. Option 2.
Perfect. It identifies a body part to its specific artificial covering. Question 13. Doctor is to hospital as teacher is to what?
A doctor is a professional whose primary designated workplace is a hospital. So, a teacher is a professional whose primary designated workplace is a school. The answer is school, option 2.
Exactly. Worker to environment. Let's shift from the environment to the tool itself with question 14. Pen is to write as knife is to what?
Sentence. The primary intended action of a pen is to write. So, the primary intended action of a knife is to cut. Option 1.
You're nailing the semantic networks. Question 15. Day is to night as light is to what?
Here, the bridge isn't a function or place. It's pure opposition. Day is the absolute polar opposite of night. Therefore, light is the absolute polar opposite of dark. Option 3.
An antonym relationship. Very clean. Question 16. Bird is to nest as bee is to what?
Sentence. A bird naturally constructs and inhabits a nest. So a bee naturally constructs and inhabits a hive. Option 2.
Animal to constructed home. Now watch what happens when the test maker takes this semantic linguistic logic and forces it back into mathematics.
Uh-oh.
Question 17. 2 is to 8 as 3 is to what?
Okay, so I need a mathematical bridge. My first thought is multiplication. 2 becomes 8 when you multiply it by 4.
Okay.
So 3 becomes
Right.
something when you multiply it by 4. That would be 12.
And 12 is a perfectly logical answer. However, in these advanced aptitude tests, they are often looking for a deeper structural relationship than simple multiplication. Multiplication is just repeated addition. Can you find a more fundamental mathematical link between 2 and 8?
Well, 2 times 2 is 8. It's the cube. 8 is the geometric cube of 2. Let me apply that. The geometric cube of 3 is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. Is 27 the answer? Option 3.
It is. When presented with multiple possible mathematical bridges, test makers prioritize exponential and power relationships over simple arithmetic. Cubes and squares represent a higher order of mathematical reasoning.
That is a crucial tip. Prioritize the powers. Okay, let's see if that applies to question 18. 5 is to 25, as 6 is to what?
It's your sentence.
25 is the perfect square of 5, so the perfect square of 6 is 36. And if I tried simple multiplication, 5 times 5 is 25, then 6 times 5 is 30. But based on your advice, I should lean toward the square relationship. The answer is 36, option 2.
Exactly. Question 19 bridges geometry and numbers. Triangle is to 3, as pentagon is to what?
Sentence. A triangle is a closed polygon defined by exactly 3 sides. Therefore, a pentagon is a closed polygon defined by exactly 5 sides. The answer is 5, option 2.
And finishing this section, question 20 tests general worldly knowledge intersecting with relational logic. India is to New Delhi, as Japan is to what?
New Delhi is the internationally recognized capital city of India. So, the internationally recognized capital city of Japan is Tokyo, option 2.
Flawless. Which brings us to section 3, classification, questions 21 through 28. If the analogy section was about how things connect, classification is entirely about how they disconnect.
Right, it's the classic one of these things is not like the other.
Yes, but it requires a very specific cognitive discipline. The intent is taxonomic thinking creating strict boundaries.
Okay, what's the strategy?
The strategy is not just to find one thing that looks weird. You must find a single, undeniable rule that successfully binds 3 of the options together into a tight category, leaving the remaining one totally isolated.
A rule for the 3, not just a reason for the 1.
Exactly. Let's look at question 21. The options are rose, lotus, lily, and mango.
Well, a rose, a lotus, and a lily all share the undeniable rule of being flowers. A mango does not fit that rule. It is a fruit, so mango is the odd one out, option 4.
Exactly. Now, question 22 gives us apple, banana, carrot, mango.
Applying the exact same taxonomic logic. Apple, banana, and mango are all fruits. A carrot is a root vegetable. It fails the rule. Carrot is the answer, option 3.
That was straightforward, but let's look at question 23. The options are square, circle, triangle, cube.
Okay, wait. My brain immediately categorizes all 4 of those as shapes. I can't group 3 of them as shapes and leave one out. They all belong in that bucket.
This is where you have to refine your rule. If the broad category includes everything, you must look for a subcategory. Think about dimensions. Think about the concept of flatland.
A square, a circle, and a triangle are all 2-dimensional. They are perfectly flat. You can draw them on a piece of paper.
And the cube?
A cube has depth. It is 3-dimensional. That is the undeniable rule that separates it. The cube is the answer, option 4.
That is the exact pivot in thinking the test requires. Question 24. Copper, iron, gold, plastic.
Rule. Copper, iron, and gold are naturally occurring elemental metals. Plastic is a synthetic, man-made polymer. It doesn't belong. Plastic is the answer, option 4.
Now for some number classification. Question 25. 2, 3, 5, 9. How do we group 3 of these?
Well, 3, 5, and 9 are odd numbers, but 2 is even, so is 2 the odd one out.
That is a very common trap, actually. Let's look deeper. Look at the properties of the numbers themselves, beyond just even or odd. Think about how they are built.
How they are built. Sure. Well, 2, 3, and 5 can only be divided by 1 in themselves. They are prime numbers. But 9 is 3 times 3. It's a composite number. So the rule is prime numbers, and 9 breaks the rule. Option 4.
Yes. In the hierarchy of numerical classification, the distinction between prime and composite is mathematically more fundamental than even versus odd. The test makers will almost always prioritize primes.
Good to know.
Let's try question 26. 4, 9, 16, 20.
I see it immediately now. 4, 9, and 16 share the undeniable rule of being perfect squares. 20 is just sitting there. It's not a square. 20 is the answer, option 4.
Question 27. Cow, lion, goat, horse.
Let's look at their biological traits. A cow, a goat, and a horse are all herbivores. They eat plants. And they are largely domesticated by humans.
The lion.
A lion is a wild carnivore, an apex predator. It is completely isolated biologically and behaviorally from the other 3. The lion is the answer, option 2.
And question 28. January, March, June, December.
We have to group months. What differentiates months? Well, February has the weird leap year thing, but that's not an option here.
Look at the days.
Let's look at length. January has 31 days. March has 31 days. December has 31 days. June only has 30. That's the isolating rule. June is the odd one out, option 3.
It's a quirk of the Gregorian calendar, but a highly testable one. Now, buckle up, because Section 4, Coding and Decoding, covering questions 29 to 38, represents a massive shift in cognitive demand.
Okay, Ronnie.
We are leaving behind natural categories like biology and mathematics and entering a world of completely arbitrary, artificial rules invented purely to confuse you.
I always feel like Alan Turing at Bletchley Park when I hit these. It's cryptography basics.
It is exactly that. The intent here is to test your adaptability. Can you abandon the normal rules of language and adopt a new temporary rule set without making an error?
What's the best way to handle it?
The absolute best strategy here is mechanical. Before the test even begins, use your scratch paper to write out the alphabet and number it 1 through 26.
Right.
When you hit these questions, do not try to do them entirely in your head. Write the given word, write the code directly underneath it, and map the shift vertically.
Map it vertically. Okay.
Let's execute this on question 29. If CT is coded as DBU, then DOG is coded as what?
Okay, I'm visualizing writing CAT and right underneath it, DBU.
Now analyze the vertical pairs. Look at C and the D below it.
C moves forward one letter in the alphabet to become D. It's a shift of +1. A moves forward to B +1. T moves forward to U +1. The rule is established. Every letter shifts forward by exactly one position.
So apply that universal rule to the target word, DOG.
D +1 is E, O +1 is PG, +1 is H. The decoded string is EPH, option 1.
Excellent. That was a direct substitution cipher, famously used by Julius Caesar. Now let's look at question 30. If A equals 1, B equals 2, all the way up to Z equals 26, then the value of the word SUN is what?
This is where that numbered alphabet on the scratch paper becomes a lifesaver. We are mapping letters to their numerical positions. So I look at S is the 19th letter, U is the 21st letter, N is the 14th letter.
The intent here is working memory. Can you hold those three distinct numbers in your head and perform accurate addition?
Let's see, 19 plus 21 is 40. 40 plus 14 is 54. The total value is 54. Option 2.
Correct. Question 31. If a word is coded by writing it backward, then world is coded as what?
This tests spatial manipulation of language. Reversing words is surprisingly hard for adults because we read by recognizing whole word shapes, not individual letters.
It's true.
But kids are sometimes better at it because they still process letter by letter. To reverse world, I literally just read it from right to left. DLROW, option 1.
Question 32. If mango is coded as MBOHP, then apple is coded as what?
Let's map it vertically again. M to N is a +1 shift. A to B is +1. N to O is +1. G to H +1. O to P +1.
Same as before.
Yeah. The rule is identical to the first question, just a longer word. I apply a +1 shift to APLE. A becomes B, P becomes Q, the second P becomes Q, L becomes M, E becomes F. The result is B, Q, Q, M, F, option 1.
Question 33. If A equals 1, B equals 2, etc., what is the value of PE?
Another position sum. Looking at my chart, P is 16, E is 5, N is 14. 16 plus 5 is 21. 21 plus 14 is 35. The answer is 35, option 3.
Now, watch the nuance in question 34. If BAD is written as 214, then CAB is written as what?
Wait, BAD is 214. B is the second letter, A is the first, D is the fourth. This isn't asking for the total sum like the last one.
What is it asking for?
It's asking for a direct character-for-character replacement, just keeping them separated by dashes. So for CAB, C is 3, A is 1, B is 2. The code is 314. Wait, no, B is 2, so it's 312.
Good catch. The test makers will absolutely put 314 as an option to catch you if your brain goes on autopilot. You have to verify every single character.
Sneaky.
Question 35. If AB is coded as CD, then PQ is coded as what?
So let's map the shift. A is mapped to C, that's skipping B, so it's a jump of +2. B is mapped to D, also skipping C, a jump of +2, so the rule is a +2 shift.
Apply it.
Apply that to PQ. P +2, P skip Q, land on R, Q +2. Q skip R, land on S. The code is RS, option 2.
Question 36. Using backward coding, school is written as what?
Just reversing the sequence again, starting from the end. L, then O, then O, then H, then C, then S. LOO, H, CS. Option 1.
Question 37. If A equals 1, B equals 2, what is the value of NDA?
Back to the position sum. I is 9, N is 14, D is 4, I is 9 again, A is 1. Let's add them up. 9 plus 14 is 23. 23 plus 4 is 27. 27 plus 9 is 36. 36 plus 1 is 37. The answer is 37, option 3.
And finally, question 38 introduces a new wrinkle. If DOG is coded as CNF, then CAT is coded as what?
Okay, vertical mapping, D to C. Wait, C comes before D. The shift is moving backward, so -1 shift. Let's check the others. O backward to N is -1. G backward to F is -1.
Exactly. We are reversing the flow.
So apply -1 to C case. C -1 is B, A -1. Wait, what is before A?
Think of the alphabet not as a straight line, but as a loop. It's cyclical. If you step backward off the A, where do you land?
You loop all the way back around to Z. Okay, so A -1 is Z and T -1 is S. The decoded word is BZS, option 1.
Excellent. You successfully navigated the loop. And speaking of complex loops, that brings us to section 5, blood relations, questions 39 through 45.
Oh boy. This is notoriously the most confusing part of any logic test. When you read these questions out loud, it literally sounds like a word salad. It's just a jumble of pronouns and family titles.
Which is precisely the cognitive trap. Human language is incredibly messy when describing complex webs of relationships.
It really is.
The intent here is to test your deductive logic by forcing you to strip away the confusing linguistic syntax. You simply cannot hold a multi-generational family tree in your working memory.
So we draw it out.
The strategy is mandatory.
Right.
You must externalize the data. You have to draw a quick diagram on your paper, use a square for a male, a circle for a female, draw vertical lines for parents and children, and horizontal lines for siblings.
Okay, let's practice externalizing with question 39. A is B's brother, and C is A's mother. How is C related to B?
Walk me through your drawing.
Okay, let's draw it in our minds. A and B are on the same horizontal level. They're siblings. A is a brother, so A gets a square. He's male.
Yes. Now, the prompt says C is A's mother, so draw a vertical line up from A to C. C gets a circle. She's female.
Okay, so the structure is set. The question asks how C relates to B. Well, if A and B are siblings sharing the same family unit, and C gave birth to A, then C must also be the mother of B. The answer is mother, option 2.
Exactly.
Drawing it out removes all the semantic confusion.
Let's try a question 40. P is the father of Q, and Q is the daughter of R.
Yeah.
How is R related to P?
Building the tree. Q is at the bottom. Draw a vertical line up to P. P is the father, so he gets a square. But the second part says Q is also the daughter of R.
How can someone have a father named P and another parent named R?
Well, biology dictates the other parent must be the mother. So R is the mother. She gets a circle placed next to P at the top level. The question asks how R relates to P. If they are co-parents to Q, they are a married couple. So R is P's wife, option 3.
Flawless logic. Now, questions 41 and 42 test your precision with specific relational terminology. Question 41. My father's brother is my heart.
Well, broadly, it's my uncle. But in logic tests, they usually demand precision. It's the uncle on the father's side, which translates to paternal uncle, option 1.
Correct. And question 42. My mother's sister is my what?
Sister to the mother. That's an aunt. Specifically, a maternal aunt. Option 2.
Right. Now we enter the linguistic obfuscation zone. They're going to use overly complex phrases to describe simple relationships.
Bring it on.
Question 43. The son of my grandfather's only son is my what?
Grandfather's only son. That is a massive, convoluted way of just saying dad. Assuming traditional maternity, if my grandfather only had one male child, that man is my father.
Exactly. You are translating the word salad into plain English, so substitute dad into the original sentence.
The sentence becomes, the son of my dad is my one, well, the son of my dad is my brother. Or technically me, if I'm a male son. But usually in these tests, the answer they're looking for is brother. Option 3.
You've cracked the code. Translating the confusing phrase is the key. Let's do it again for question 44. Pointing to a photograph, Ravi said, she is the daughter of my grandfather's only child. The girl in the photo is Ravi's what?
Let's isolate the complex phrase. My grandfather's only child. If Ravi's grandfather had exactly one child, that child has to be Ravi's parent. Usually, in the context of these specific Indian curriculum tests, it implies the father. So we translate the phrase to my father.
Now plug it back in.
She is the daughter of my father. Well, if a girl is the daughter of Ravi's father, she and Ravi share a father. She is Ravi's sister. Option 2.
Masterfully translated. Let's finish the blood relations with a grand finale of a family tree. Question 45. X is Y's son. Z is X's sister. W is Z's mother. How is W related to Y?
I am definitely drawing this one.
Take your time.
Okay, Y is at the top. Vertical line down to X. X is the son, so he's a square. Next ends, Z is X's sister. So draw a horizontal line connecting X to Z. Z gets a circle. She's female. They're siblings on the bottom row.
Good. Now for the last piece.
W is Z's mother. So draw a vertical line up from Z to W. W is female, a circle. Now, step back and look at the whole diagram. X and Z are brother and sister. Y is the father figure of X, and W is the mother figure of Z. Since X and Z are siblings, Y and W must be their parents. W is the mother, Y is the father. The question asks how W relates to Y. W is Y's wife, option 2.
It is so satisfying to watch chaos resolve into a clean, logical diagram, and that spatial mapping skill leads us perfectly into section 6. Direction sense. Questions 46 through 51. We are taking mapping out of the family tree and putting it into physical space.
It's the same core skill, though, right? Creating an external model so our brain doesn't get overwhelmed.
Exactly. The intent here is testing allocentric spatial reasoning, understanding how objects relate to each other in a fixed environment, independent of your own body's orientation.
What's the trick here?
The strategy is to always draw a tiny compass cross on your paper. North up, south down, east right, west left. Always treat your starting point as the absolute center of that cross, the origin point.
Make a map.
Let's test this with question 46. A man walks 3 kilometers north, then turns right and walks 4 kilometers. How far is he from his starting point?
Okay, I have to push back here. My brain screams that the answer is 7. He walked 3 kilometers and then he walked 4 kilometers. 3 plus 4 is 7. Total distance is 7. Why wouldn't that be the answer?
Because that is the exact cognitive trap they built for you. The question does not ask what is the total distance he traveled. It asks, how far is he from his starting point?
Wow.
In physics and geometry, that means displacement. The shortest linear distance between point A and point B as the crow flies.
Oh, so I'm drawing a line straight from the center of my cross diagonally to where he ended up.
Yes. Look at the path he took. He went north, which is straight up on our paper. Then he turned east, which creates a perfect 90-degree right angle. He has essentially drawn the 2 legs of a right-angled triangle. Your diagonal line is the hypotenuse.
Right, so we have to use the Pythagorean theorem from ancient Greece geometry. A squared plus b squared equals c squared.
Exactly. Calculate it out.
Leg A is a 3. 3 squared is 9. Leg B is 4. 4 squared is 16. 9 plus 16 equals 25. So c squared is 25. To get the actual distance, c, I take the square root of 25. The answer is 5. He is 5 kilometers away. Option 2. That is incredibly sneaky.
It's the classic 3-4-5 right triangle, a staple of geometry testing. Question 47 tests mental rotation. If you are facing north and turn to your right, which direction do you face?
Visualize the compass. I'm looking straight up at north. A right turn is a 90-degree clockwise rotation that swings my view to point directly at east. The answer is east, option 2.
Question 48. If you are facing south and turn to your left, which direction do you face?
Looking down at south. Now, turning left from south means turning counterclockwise. That swings my view back toward the right side of the paper, which is east. The answer is east again, option 1.
It takes a moment of mental gymnastics to orient yourself facing down. Question 49 relies on fixed external facts. The sun rises in the direction of what?
This has nothing to do with where I am facing or turning. It's an absolute planetary truth based on Earth's rotation. The sun always rises in the east, option 3.
Question 50. A girl walks 5 kilometers east, then 5 kilometers north, then 5 kilometers west. She is now where relative to her starting point?
Let's trace the vectors. She goes 5 kilometers east, then up north for 5, then 5 kilometers west. Wait, going 5 kilometers west exactly cancels out her initial 5-kilometer journey east.
Exactly, horizontal vector cancellation.
The east and west movements negate each other. The only net movement she's made is the 5 kilometers north. So relative to her start, she is directly north. The answer is north, option 3.
In question 51, you are facing west. After turning 180 degrees, you face what?
A 180-degree turn is a complete about-face. It's half of a 360-degree circle, so you end up facing the direct absolute opposite of where you started. The exact opposite of west is east, option 3.
Fantastic. Now we shift our mapping skills from physical space to the mapping of time itself. Section 7, Clock and Calendar, questions 52 through 57.
Time is always a weird concept to test.
It is, because humans measure time using modular arithmetic, which just means systems that loop back on themselves. We use base 12 for our clocks and base 7 for our days of the week. This section also tests your ability to view time as geometric angles.
Like shapes on a clock.
Yes. Let's look at question 52. What is the angle between the 2 hands of a clock at exactly 3.00?
Okay, visualize the clock face. The long minute hand is pointing straight up at the 12. The short hour hand is pointing straight out to the right at the 3.
Correct. They are separated by exactly 3 hours on the dial. How do we convert that to degrees?
Well, the whole clock face is a perfect circle, which is 360 degrees. There are 12 hours on the dial, so if I divide 360 by 12, I get 30. That means every single hour wedge on the clock represents 30 degrees of angle.
Brilliant deduction. So finish the calculation.
At 3.0, the hands are 3 hours apart. 3 times 30 degrees equals 90 degrees. It forms a perfect right angle. The answer is 90 degrees, option 2.
Question 53 tests relative time terminology. If the day after tomorrow is Sunday, what day is today?
You have to work backward through the logic chain. The day after tomorrow is Sunday. That means tomorrow must be Saturday. And if tomorrow is Saturday, then today have to be Friday. The answer is Friday, option 2.
Question 54 is a standard astronomical fact test. How many days are there in a leap year?
A normal orbital year is 365 days. But because the Earth's orbit isn't perfectly 365 days, we accumulate a little extra time. Every 4 years, we tack on 1 extra day to February to realign our calendars with the solar system. So 365 plus 1 is 366. A leap year has 366 days, option 2.
Question 55 brings us back to clock geometry. At which of the following times do the two hands of a clock point in exactly opposite directions? The choices provided are 3.00, 6.00, 9.00, or 12.0.
Exactly opposite directions means they form a perfectly straight line across the dial. A straight line is a 180-degree angle. Let's visualize the opposites. At 12.000, they overlap, so that's a 0-degree angle.
Right.
At 3.000 and 9.00, they form 90-degree right angles, as we figured out earlier. But at 6.000, the minute hand points straight up at 12, and the hour hand points straight down at 6. They perfectly oppose each other, forming that straight line. The answer is 6.00, option 2.
Question 56 introduces modulo 7 arithmetic. If today is Monday, what day will it be after exactly 7 days?
Because our week operates on a strict 7-day cyclical loop, any forward or backward shift of exactly 7 days, or any multiple of 7, like 14 or 21, acts like a complete rotation. It drops you right back where you started. So exactly 7 days from Monday is Monday, option 2.
And question 57 follows up on our leap year discussion. In a leap year, the month of February has how many days?
Normally, February is the run to the calendar with 28 days. But in the leap year, it absorbs that extra day we talked about. So it has 29 days, option 2.
We are making incredible time. Let's move into section 8, alphabet and word formation, questions 58 through 63. We return to the alphabet here, but the intent is entirely different from the secret agent coding section.
Wow, so it's still just manipulating letters, right?
Earlier, we were deducing abstract shifting rules. Here, the rules are rigid. The test maker is examining your raw visual scanning speed, your attention to detail, and your alphabetic indexing. It's about execution, not deduction. Question 58 asks, which letter is fifth from the left in the word English?
This feels almost too simple. It's a test of whether you rush and make a silly mistake. Literally just counting from left to right. E is 1, N is 2, G is 3, L is 4, I is 5. The fifth letter is I, option 2.
Exactly. Do not overcomplicate it. Question 59. If the letters of the word world are arranged alphabetically, which letter comes first?
I don't even need to arrange the whole word. That would waste time. I just need to scan the inventory, W-O-R-L-D, and find the letter that appears earliest in the alphabet. D is the fourth letter of the alphabet, beating out all the others. The answer is D, option 4.
Visual scanning optimization. Question 60. How many letters are there between B and F in the English alphabet?
Again, danger of rushing. It asks what is between them, not including them. So after B comes C, D, E, and then we hit F. So there are exactly 3 letters trapped between them. The answer is 3, option 2.
Question 61. Which is the 10th letter of the English alphabet?
If you wrote down the numbered alphabet on your scratch paper at the beginning of the exam, you just look at position 10. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. The answer is J, option 2.
Question 62 shifts to anagrams. Which word can be formed using all the letters of the word Earth exactly once? The choices given are heart, 3, teach, and chart.
The human brain is actually incredible at this. It's related to typoglycemia, where our brains can read scrambled words as long as the letters are all present.
Yeah, it's a fun phenomenon.
We're looking for a perfect inventory match. E-A-R-T-H. Look at the first choice. Heart, H-E-A-R-T. It uses the exact same 5 letters, just shuffled. The answer is heart, option 1.
In question 63, which letter lies exactly midway between A and Y in the English alphabet?
This is mathematical indexing applied to language. Finding the midway point is exactly like finding the median of a statistical data set.
That is the perfect analogy. How do you calculate a median?
You take the position value of the 2 endpoints, add them together, and divide by 2 to find the average. A is in position 1. Y is in position 25. 1 plus 25 equals 26. Divide 26 by 2 and you get 13. The exact middle point is the 13th position. The 13th letter of the alphabet is M. The answer is M, option 2.
Seamless integration of math and language. Now prepare yourself for Section 9, Ranking and Arrangement. Questions 64 through 69. This section focuses on ordering items in a line or queue.
And from what I understand, this is the section where smart students make the absolute most frustrating, simple counting errors.
They do it constantly. In computer science, it's called an off-by-one error or a fence post error. The intent here is testing your logical handling of overlapping sets.
What's the main trap?
The primary danger is accidentally counting the same person twice. The strategy is to memorize a simple formula for finding the total count in a line. Position from the left plus position from the right minus 1.
Why the -1?
Because if I count you as the 4th person from the left and then count you again as the 7th person from the right, I have counted you twice. I have to subtract one instance of you to get the true total number of humans in the room.
That makes total sense.
Let's see it in action with question 64. In a row of 10 children, Anu is 4th from the left. What is her position from the right?
Okay, we have the total this time, which is 10. So using a variation of your formula. Total, which is 10, minus her position from the left, which is 4, equals 6. But I have to add her back in to find her position relative to the end. So 6 plus 1 is 7. She is 7th from the right, option 2.
Exactly. Question 65. In a class, Ravi ranks 7th from the top and 18th from the bottom. How many students are there in total?
Here we use the core formula directly. Top position 7 plus bottom position 18 equals 25. But we just counted Ravi twice, once on the way down, once on the way up. We subtract 1. 25 minus 1 is 24. There are 24 students, option 2.
Question 66. In a row of 40 students, a boy is 15th from the left. What is his position from the right?
Same as a news question. Total 40 minus left position 15 equals 25. Add 1 back to account for the boy himself. His position is 26th from the right, option 2.
Now, questions 67 and 68 move away from numerical counting and test relational logic, specifically the transitive property. Question 67, A is taller than B and B is taller than C. Who is the shortest?
The transitive property basically says if A relates to B and B relates to C in the same way, then A relates to C. If A is greater than B and B is greater than C, we can build a hierarchy. A is greater than B is greater than C. C is at the absolute bottom of that chain. Therefore, C is the shortest, option 3.
Flawless. Question 68. P is heavier than Q and R is lighter than Q. Who is the lightest?
Let's standardize the terms so they all point in the same direction. R is lighter than Q is logically identical to saying Q is heavier than R.
Good move.
So now I have P is heavier than Q and Q is heavier than R. The chain is PQR. R is at the bottom of the hierarchy. R is the lightest, option 3.
In closing out this section, question 69. In a queue, Mina is 5th from the front and 5th from the back. How many people are in the queue?
Back to the double counting formula. 5 plus 5 is 10. Minus 1, because we counted poor Mina twice, there are 9 people in the queue, option 2.
We are entering the deep waters now. Section 10, mathematical reasoning. Questions 70 through 77. This is where applied math meets logical twists.
Daniel Kahneman's System 1 versus System 2 thinking, right? Our fast intuitive brain versus our slow calculating brain.
Exactly. The intent here is testing your cognitive flexibility with numbers. Your fast System 1 brain will jump to a conclusion based on how the problem looks. Your slow System 2 brain needs to step in and analyze what the problem actually is.
Got it.
The most important advice I can give is do not blindly calculate what you see on the page. Look for the hidden operator. Let's look at question 70. If 2 plus 3 equals 10 and 3 plus 4 equals 21, then what does 4 plus 5 equal?
My System 1 brain immediately protests that 2 plus 3 does not equal 10. It equals 5. So the plus sign here is a lie. It's a symbol for a hidden multi-step operation.
Right. So how does the real sum, 5, turn into the stated answer, 10?
You multiply it by 2. Let's test that theory on the second equation. 3 plus 4 actually equals 7. How does 7 become 21? You multiply it by 3. Oh!
You see it.
The hidden rule is you take the first number in the equation and you multiply it by the actual sum of the two numbers.
Now apply that verified rule to the final target. 4 plus
The actual sum of 4 and 5 is 9. Then I multiply that sum by the first number, which is 4.4 times 9 is 36. The answer is 36, option 2.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. You have to literally unlearn standard arithmetic to solve it.
Which sets you up perfectly for the psychological trap of question 71. If 7 times 8 equals 56 and 6 times 9 equals 54, then 5 times 7 equals what?
Okay, I am instantly paranoid. What's the trick? 7 times 8 actually is 56. 6 times 9 actually is 54. Are they trying to trick me into finding a hidden rule where there isn't one?
Yes. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. The test makers put this here precisely to mess with your expectations after the previous question. They want to see if your paranoia will cause you to overcomplicate a simple, established fact.
That is almost cruel. So the pattern is just literal standard multiplication. No hidden operator. So 5 times 7 is just 35. The answer is 35, option 2.
You survived the double bluff. Question 72 brings us back to sequences. Find the missing number. 1, 2, 4, 7, 11, and then a blank.
We applied our section 1 strategy, check the gaps. From 1 to 2 is plus 1, 2 to 4 is plus 2, 4 to 7 is plus 3, 7 to 11 is plus 4. The gaps are increasing by exactly 1 each time. So the next gap must be plus 5, 11 plus 5 is 16. The answer is 16, option 3.
Question 73 is a test of translating text to operations. Half of 20 plus 5 equals what?
Strict order of operations, just written in English. Half of 20 is 10. Then plus 5 makes it 15. The answer is 15, option 2.
Now for the main event, the trap we discussed at the very beginning of the show. Question 74. If 5 machines make 5 toys in 5 minutes, how long do 100 machines take to make 100 toys?
This is the ultimate cognitive reflection test. System 1 looks at the pattern, 5, 5, 5. Then it sees 100, 100, and practically screams 100. It wants symmetry.
But System 2 needs to step in and evaluate the physics of the scenario. What is actually happening on that factory floor?
If 5 machines make 5 toys in 5 minutes, that means they're working in parallel, simultaneously. Each individual machine is working independently on its own single toy. And it takes that one machine exactly 5 minutes of effort to finish its one toy.
Precisely, so scale it up.
If you bring in 100 machines and they all power on at the exact same moment, they each start working on their one toy. 5 minutes later, every single machine finishes its toy at the same time. You now have 100 toys. The total time elapsed is still just 5 minutes. The answer is 5, option 1. It's so satisfying when you force your brain to see the reality instead of the illusion.
That ability to pause and reflect is what separates good test takers from great ones. Question 75, find the next number. 100, 50, 25, blank.
Look at the relationship. 50 is exactly half of 100. 25 is exactly half of 50. It's a halving sequence, or dividing by 2. So I need half of 25. 25 divided by 2 is 12.5. The answer is 12.5, option 2.
Question 76. What is the sum of the first 5 natural numbers?
Natural numbers are the counting numbers starting at 1. So we just add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Wait, didn't the mathematician Gauss invent a trick for this?
He did. He realized you compare the ends. 1 plus 5 is 6. 2 plus 4 is 6. So that's 2 6s, which is 12, plus the 3 in the middle, which makes 15. It's a great shortcut for larger sets. But for just 5 numbers, manual addition works fine. The answer is 15, option 3. And finishing the math section, question 77, what is 3/4 of 80?
Break the fraction down into 2 digestible steps. First, find 1/4 by dividing 80 by 4. That gives us 20, but we need 3 of those 4s, so we multiply 20 by 3. The result is 60. The answer is 60, option 3.
We have arrived at the final sprint, section 11, nonverbal reasoning, questions 78 through 90.
This entire section relies completely on images and visual diagrams. Since we're doing an audio deep dive, this is going to be an intense exercise in mental visualization for you listening at home.
The intent here is testing Gestalt psychology, how our brain perceives wholes versus parts, along with spatial rotation and visual reflection, all without relying on a single word of text.
How do we tackle it?
The strategy here is vital. Do not try to process the entire image at once. Your working memory will crash. Pick one defining feature, a single dot, a specific corner, one arrowhead, and track its movement step by step through the sequence. Let's start with breaking Gestalt in question 78. You are shown a large triangle with a single vertical line drawn straight down the middle from the top point to the base. The question asks, how many triangles are there in the given figure?
Well, the line cuts the big triangle straight down the middle, creating a smaller triangle on the left and a smaller triangle on the right. So that's 2 triangles.
And that is the exact trap. You counted the 2 small constituent parts, but you forgot the whole. The large outer boundary itself is also a triangle. You have to count the left inner half, the right inner half, and the entire overarching shape. That makes 3 triangles in total, option 2.
Question 79 is similar. You are shown a square divided into a 2x2 grid, looking exactly like a 4-pane window. How many squares are there?
Apply the new logic.
Okay, applying the new logic. I see the 4 small individual square panes inside the window. But I can't forget the whole. The large outer frame enclosing them is itself a square. So 4 inner squares plus 1 massive outer square equals 5 squares total, option 3.
Perfect. Question 80. You are shown a square with an X drawn perfectly edge to edge inside it, connecting the opposite diagonal corners. How many straight lines are used to draw this entire figure?
Let's break down the geometry. The outer square perimeter is constructed of 4 straight lines. The x inside is constructed of 2 diagonal straight lines crossing the middle. 4 plus 2 equals 6 straight lines in total, option 3.
Now we move to reflections. Question 81 asks for a mirror image. You are shown the capital letter F.
You need to understand what a mirror does to space. A mirror reflects across a vertical axis. It creates chirality, flipping a figure from left to right.
Exactly, so visualize the F.
The long vertical spine of the F stays vertical, but the 2 horizontal arms that normally reach out to the right side will now be flipped to reach out to the left side. It'll look like it's pointing backward. Option 2.
Question 82 is another mirror image. The figure is shaped like an inverted L, a corner shape where a vertical line goes down and a horizontal base points out to the left.
Apply the strict left-to-right flip rule. The vertical line remains static as the axis, but the horizontal base, which originally pointed left, gets flipped across the axis and will now point out to the right. It transforms into a regular, standard capital L. Option 2.
Question 83 is a figure analogy. An up arrow becomes a right arrow. Therefore, a down arrow becomes what?
We have to find the hidden rotational rule. How does an arrow pointing north become an arrow pointing east? It pivots 90 degrees in a clockwise direction. That is the rule. Now, apply a 90-degree clockwise pivot to a down arrow pointing south. It will swing over to point to the west or the left. The answer is a left arrow, option 3.
Question 84 is an odd figure-out classification. You have 4 options. 3 of them show arrows pointing to the right. 1 of them shows an arrow pointing straight up.
This is a straightforward visual grouping. The 3 arrows pointing right belong to a set based on their shared orientation. The single arrow pointing up breaks that set's rule. The up arrow is the answer, option 3.
Question 85 is a figure series. You are shown a sequence of dice faces. The first face shows 1 dot, the second shows 2 dots, the third shows 3 dots, the fourth shows 4 dots. What comes next?
The pattern is simple linear addition translated into visual space. The quantity of dots increases by exactly 1 in each successive frame. Following a 4-dot face, the next logical step must have 5 dots. The answer is the 5-dot face, option 3.
Question 86 is a pattern completion. Imagine a 2x2 square grid, like the window pane from earlier. In the first frame, the top left square is shaded dark. In the second frame, the top right square is shaded. In the third frame, the bottom right square is shaded. What comes next?
Don't look at the whole grid. Track the feature. The shaded box is the feature. It moves from top left, shifts over to top right, then drops down to bottom right. It is traveling in a clear, clockwise path around the 4 corners of the grid. Continuing that clockwise circuit, the next logical position must be the bottom left square. The answer is the grid with the bottom left corner shaded, option 2.
Question 87. A sequence of shapes. First, a triangle, next a square, next a pentagon. What shape comes next?
We convert the visual geometry into numerical data. Count the sides. A triangle has 3 sides, a square has 4, a pentagon has 5. The rule is that the number of structural sides increases by 1 each time. The next shape must inherently have 6 sides. A 6-sided polygon is a hexagon. The answer is a hexagon, option 2.
Question 88 introduces a new concept. It asks for a water image. The original image is a flag on a pole with the flag pointing to the right.
I have to pause here. How is a water image physically different from the mirror images we did earlier? A reflection is a reflection, right?
It's a crucial distinction in physics and testing. As we discussed, a regular wall mirror reflects across a vertical axis. It flips an image horizontally, left to right, but a water image is a reflection off a puddle on the ground. It reflects across a horizontal axis. It flips a figure vertically, top to bottom. Left and right remain completely unchanged.
Oh. Okay, so visualizing the flagpole, the pole remains vertical, the flag is pointing right, and it will still point right in the water. But the flag itself, which was flying at the top of the pole in the air, now appears upside down at the bottom of the reflected pole in the water. The answer is the upside down flag at the bottom of the pole, still pointing right, option 2.
Incredible visualization. Question 89, another odd one out figure classification. You are shown 4 solid geometric shapes. 3 of them are solid green triangles. 1 of them is a solid green square.
The shared color green is just a visual distractor to waste cognitive processing power. Strip away the color and look at the form. 3 are triangles, forming a clear geometric category. The square breaks the geometric rule. The square is the answer, option 3.
And finally, the last puzzle. Question 90. A figure series testing continuous rotation. Imagine a square box containing a single straight line. In the first frame, the line is perfectly vertical. In the second frame, the line leans to the right, becoming a diagonal line pointing from bottom left to top right. In the third frame, the line has fallen flat and is perfectly horizontal. What comes next?
Okay, tracks the rotation. It starts vertical, which we can call a 0-degree starting point. It leans right, which is a 45-degree clockwise turn. In the next frame, it falls flat horizontal, which is another 45-degree clockwise turn, bringing it to 90 degrees from where it started.
So the established operational rule is a 45-degree clockwise rotation per sequential step.
Applying that rule, the next turn will push the horizontal line further down on the right side. It will rotate another 45 degrees clockwise, creating a new diagonal line, but this one will point from the top left down to the bottom right, resting at a 135-degree angle from the original vertical position. That specific diagonal line is the answer, option 2.
And with that final 45-degree rotation, we have completely deconstructed the test.
Wow. Take a deep breath. We just systematically dissected 90 distinct logical puzzles. I want to sincerely acknowledge the mental marathon you, the listener, just completed.
It's a lot of work.
We journeyed through mathematical sequences, decoded artificial alphabets, untangled multi-generational family trees, plotted physical vectors, and mentally rotated geometry. It's a massive cognitive load. But remember the core goal we talked about at the beginning. We aren't doing this just to pass a test.
Definitely not.
We are doing this to build a highly agile, rigorously logical mind. A mind fully capable of securing that NMMS scholarship and paving an unshakable foundation for university.
You now possess the strategic toolkit to completely dismantle this exam. You understand the test maker's intent, the psychological traps, and the hidden rules. But I want to leave you with a final thought, a concept that isn't explicitly printed anywhere in the test booklet.
What is it?
We've spent this entire session identifying the hidden rules neatly created by test makers in a controlled environment. But as you step out of this exam and into higher education, the real challenge changes. It isn't about solving puzzles with preset multiple choice answers anymore.
Right, the real world doesn't come with 4 neat options.
Exactly. The true test of intelligence is looking at the vast, unstructured chaos of the real world, whether you are studying volatile economics, complex biological systems, or abstract art, and asking yourself, what is the hidden pattern here that no one else has noticed yet?
I love that.
The skills you sharpen today, breaking through cognitive traps, mapping relationships, finding the invisible rules, are exactly the tools you need to answer that question. You have the mental toolkit. Go apply it.
From surviving the murky, invisible waters of logic tests to seeing the chaotic world clearly. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Good luck out there.
We're dedicating this entire session to you, the bright, incredibly ambitious student listening right now. You are preparing for the NMMS, the National Means to Merit Scholarship Scholastic Aptitude Test.
Right, the NMMS.
And this is not just another random Tuesday school quiz. It is a genuine gateway to secure financial backing for your education.
I remember taking tests like this in the 8th grade, actually. The pressure feels immense because the reward is just so real.
Oh, absolutely.
Today, we have a very specific shared mission. We are taking a crowbar to Model Set 1 for Andhra Pradesh, English medium. We're going to pry it open, dissect it, and show you exactly how to beat it.
That's the plan.
The parameters are, 90 questions, 90 marks, 90 minutes. That is 1 minute per question.
Which means you cannot just rely on pure memorization, right? You need to really understand the underlying logic of the natural world, human history, and mathematical systems.
Definitely.
Our promise as your mentors today is that we will walk through every single question with you, but we won't just give you an answer key.
No, that wouldn't help.
Exactly. We are going to explore the why and the how, giving you the mnemonics and mental frameworks to lock this knowledge into your brain permanently.
I am so ready for this. I really hope you're ready too. Take a deep breath with me.
Here we go.
We are dropping right into section 1, which is the science gauntlet. 35 questions. Let's get to work. Question 1.
Right. Biology.
Yeah. This one is testing if we understand crop production and harvest seasons. The question tells us that paddy, which is rice, is sown at the start of the monsoon and harvested in autumn.
Okay. Intent identified.
We need to categorize this crop. The choices are 1. Rabi crops, 2. Kharif crops, 3. Zaid crops, or 4. Cash crops.
Let's analyze this.
I always get the first 2 mixed up, honestly.
Yeah.
But paddy needs to be basically underwater, right?
Exactly, yeah. Paddy requires a massive amount of standing water, which prevents weeds from growing and, drowning out the rice plant.
Makes sense.
That is why it is sown in the rainy season, right around June or July. So the correct choice is 2, Kharif crops.
Kharif, right?
The word kharif actually comes from Arabic, meaning autumn, which is when these crops are harvested. Conversely, rabi crops, like wheat, are sown in the dry winter months.
I have a foolproof mnemonic for this, actually. Kharif needs a raincoat.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Kharif, raincoat, they both have that hard R sound, linking the word perfectly to the rainy season. Okay, let's look at question 2.
Moving on to microorganisms.
Right, intent here is nitrogen fixation. Leguminous plants like peas and beans need a tiny helper to pull nitrogen from the air. The choices are 1, lactobacillus, 2, rhizobium, 3, yeast, or 4, plasmodium.
Well, the correct choice is 2, rhizobium.
Yeah.
To understand why, you have to look at the chemistry of our atmosphere, right?
The air we breathe is 78% nitrogen gas, but the nitrogen atoms are bound together by a super strong triple bond. Plants simply don't have the biological machinery to break that bond.
So they need help.
Exactly. They form a partnership with rhizobium bacteria. The bacteria live right inside the plant's root nodules, break apart the atmospheric nitrogen, and feed it directly to the plant in exchange for sugars.
It's nature's perfect trade deal, really. Yeah. And my trick for this is simple, you guys. Rhizobium lives in the roots, R and R.
Perfect.
Let's move to question 3, which is about combustion. The intent is understanding flame zones. If you look at a candle flame, what is the hottest part?
Good question.
Is it 1, the innermost dark zone, 2, middle yellow zone, 3, the outermost blue zone, or 4, all zones are equally hot? Honestly, my instinct says the innermost part right next to the wick should be the hottest.
That is a very common misconception, but it is actually the opposite.
Really? Yeah, the correct choice is 3, the outermost blue zone. Fire requires oxygen. The dark inner zone is just unburnt, vaporized wax that hasn't found enough oxygen yet, so it is actually the coolest part.
Oh.
The middle yellow zone is burning, but only partially. The outer edge, however, is directly exposed to the limitless oxygen in the surrounding air.
So it burns hotter.
Exactly. Because it has maximum oxygen, it undergoes complete combustion, burning blue, and generating the most intense heat.
That makes total sense when you think about oxygen acting as fuel for the fire. All right, question 4 shifts us to physics in the animal kingdom.
Practical physics, I love these.
Intent here is pressure and area. Why can a heavy camel walk easily on soft desert sand without sinking? Do its broad feet 1, increase the force on the sand, 2, reduce the area and increase pressure?
Or 3 and 4.
Right. 3, increase the area and reduce pressure, or 4, have no effect on pressure.
The correct choice is 3, increase the area and reduce pressure. This is a brilliant evolutionary application of a fundamental physics equation.
Which
pressure equals force divided by area. The camel's weight, which is the force, is a constant. It doesn't change.
Right. The candle doesn't get lighter.
Exactly. So if you divide that same heavy weight by a much larger surface area, the resulting pressure pushing down into the sand plummets.
It is the exact same reason you wouldn't wear stiletto heels to walk through deep mud. The heel has a tiny area creating massive pressure, and you sink.
Great analogy.
Wear wide snowshoes, you increase the area, reduce the pressure, and you float on top. Let's look at question 5. This dives into human biology, specifically the endocrine system during adolescence.
Hormones.
Yeah. We need to identify the master gland. Choices are 1, thyroid gland, 2, pituitary gland, 3, pancreas, or 4, adrenal gland.
The correct choice is 2, pituitary gland. The endocrine system uses chemical messengers called hormones to tell your body what to do.
Right.
The pituitary is a tiny pea-sized gland at the base of your brain, but it wields immense power. It literally sends out hormones that command the thyroid, the adrenals, and the reproductive glands to start doing their jobs.
So it's the boss.
Exactly. Because it is the central command center, it gets the title of master gland.
I always picture a casino for this one. The pit boss stands in the middle of the floor and controls everything that happens. Pit boss equals pituitary gland.
That's a fun way to remember it.
Question 6 is about Earth's natural materials. Intent is resource types. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas take millions of years to form. How do we categorize them?
Okay, let's hear the options.
1, renewable. 2, inexhaustible. 3, exhaustible fossil resources. Or 4, man-made.
The correct choice is 3, exhaustible fossil resources. The key here is the timeline.
The millions of years part.
Right. These resources are made from the ancient fossils of dead plants and animals that were crushed under heat and pressure over eons. Because humans consume them millions of times faster than the Earth can naturally replace them, The supply can literally be exhausted or emptied out.
Meaning they're gone once we use them.
Precisely. That makes them strictly non-renewable.
Got it. Question 7 looks at everyday fibers. Intent here is natural versus man-made. We want to know which of these is entirely synthetic or man-made. 1, cotton, 2, wool, 3, silk, or 4, nylon.
The correct choice is 4, nylon. Cotton grows on a shrub,
Yeah.
and wool is sheared off a sheep. Silk is spun by a caterpillar, but nylon has absolutely no biological source.
That's all chemicals.
Exactly. It was invented in a chemical laboratory in the 1930s, primarily from petrochemicals. It was engineered to be exceptionally strong and elastic, which is exactly why it was used to make parachutes during World War II.
Question 8 takes us out into the wild to talk about conservation. Intent is species geography. What do we call a species of plant or animal that is found naturally in only one specific area on Earth?
This is an important one.
Choices are 1, endemic species, 2, migratory species, 3, extinct species, or 4, exotic species. I know kangaroos are only naturally found in Australia, for example.
And exactly. The kangaroo is a perfect example of this. The correct choice is 1, endemic species.
Let's rule out the others.
Sure. To clarify the others so you aren't tricked on the test, extinct means they are gone forever. Migratory means they travel long distances across different regions, like birds flying south for winter.
Right. And exotic.
Exotic means an alien species brought in by humans. But endemic means highly localized and native to one strict geographical boundary.
Study tip for you listening. Link the word endemic to the end of the road. They live at that specific spot and they don't go anywhere else.
Very helpful.
Question 9 zooms way into the structure of a single biological cell. Intent is organelle functions. Which organelle acts as the control center? 1, cell membrane, 2, cytoplasm, 3, nucleus, or 4, vacuole.
The correct choice is 3, nucleus. If you visualize a cell as a bustling miniature city, the cell membrane is the city wall, deciding what gets in and out.
Okay, the wall.
Yeah. The cytoplasm is the ground everyone walks on. The vacuole is a storage warehouse for water and nutrients.
And the nucleus?
The nucleus is City Hall. It contains all the DNA blueprints and sends out the instructions that control every single activity happening within the cell.
Makes perfect sense. Question 10 tackles reproduction. The intent is defining cellular fusion. We need the specific scientific term for the exact moment when a male sperm and a female egg fuse to form a single cell.
The start of life.
Is it 1, budding, 2, fertilization, 3, pollination, or 4, germination?
The correct choice is 2, fertilization. Sexual reproduction requires the joining of genetic material from 2 parents, right?
Right.
The sperm and the ovum each carry half the necessary genetic code. The physical fusion of those 2 cells to create a brand new whole cell called a zygote is defined as fertilization.
What about the other options?
Well, budding is how yeast clones itself. Pollination is moving pollen around, and germination is a seed waking up to sprout.
That brings us to question 11, moving into physics and chemistry. This one is about friction. The intent is reducing resistance. If 2 metal gears are grinding against each other, how do we reduce that friction?
Practical engineer.
1, making surfaces rough. 2, applying a lubricant such as oil. 3, increasing the load. Or 4, removing the wheels. Now my question is, does oil actually change the surface of the metal?
No, it doesn't change the metal itself. If you look at even the smoothest metal under a microscope, it actually looks like a jagged mountain range.
Wow, really?
Yeah. When 2 pieces of metal rub, those invisible mountains crash into each other, creating heat and resistance, and that's friction. The correct choice is 2, applying a lubricant such as oil.
Because it fills in the gaps.
Exactly. The oil physically fills in the microscopic valleys, creating a fluid barrier. The metal parts literally float on a thin film of oil, preventing those jagged peaks from interlocking.
Question 12 deals with sound. Intent is medium requirements. Through which of these can sound not travel? 1, solids, 2, liquids, 3, gases, or 4, vacuum.
The correct choice is 4, vacuum. We have to understand what sound actually is. It isn't a particle itself, it is a mechanical vibration.
Like a wave.
Exactly. Imagine a crowded room of people standing shoulder to shoulder. If one person gets pushed, they bump into the next person, sending a wave through the crowd. Sound works the exact same way.
So it needs stuff to bump into.
It needs physical atoms, solid, liquid, or gas, to bump into each other to carry the acoustic energy. A vacuum is empty space with 0 atoms. No atoms, no bumping, no sound.
Which means every science fiction movie with massive booming explosions in deep space is lying to us. Space is completely silent.
Sadly, yes.
Question 13 is about the chemical effects of electricity. Intent is depositing metals. What is the process of depositing a layer of one metal over another using an electric current? 1. Galvanization, 2. Electroplating, 3. Welding, or 4. Distillation.
The correct choice is 2, electroplating. If you have a cheap iron spoon and you want to make it look expensive, you submerge it in a liquid solution containing silver ions. When you run an electrical current through the solution, the electricity literally pulls the silver atoms out of the liquid and permanently bonds them to the surface of the iron spoon.
That's so cool.
It is. It is used widely to prevent rust or just make things shiny, like jewelry.
Question 14 stays with electricity, but on a massive scale, lightning. Intent is lightning protection. What device protects tall buildings during a thunderstorm? 1. Lightning conductor. 2. Transformer. 3. Galvanometer. Or 4. Fuse.
The correct choice is 1. Lightning conductor. Lightning is just nature desperately trying to balance a massive electrical charge between the clouds and the earth.
And electricity is lazy, right?
Yes, electricity is lazy. It takes the easiest path. If it strikes a building, it will blast through concrete and wood, causing fires.
So how does the conductor help?
A lightning conductor is a thick copper or aluminum rod on the roof connected to a wire buried in the ground. Metal conducts electricity perfectly, offering the lightning a completely frictionless path straight into the dirt, entirely bypassing the building's structure.
Question 15 is about the physics of light. Intent is plane mirror images. When you stand in front of your flat bathroom mirror, what kind of image is formed? 1. Real and inverted. 2. Virtual and erect. 3. Real and erect. Or 4. Virtual and inverted.
The correct choice is 2. Virtual and erect. Let's break those terms down for a second.
Yeah, please do.
A real image is one that can be projected onto a physical screen, like a movie projector throwing light onto a wall. A flat mirror doesn't project light outward. The image only appears to exist behind the glass.
Right, you can't touch it.
Because it can't be captured on a screen, physics calls it virtual. And erect simply means it is right side up. Your reflection's head is at the top, just like yours.
Question 16 looks up at the night sky. Intent is planetary order. Which planet is closest to the sun? 1. Venus. 2. Earth. 3. Mercury. Or 4. Mars.
The correct choice is 3. Mercury. Mercury sits in a tight, rapid orbit just roughly 36 million miles from the sun, making it the innermost planet.
And then the others.
Venus is second, Earth is third, and Mars is fourth.
A super easy way to remember the order of the 8 planets is, my very educated mother just served us noodles. Start with my foe Mercury.
A classic mnemonic.
Question 17 comes back down to Earth's atmosphere. Intent is global warming cause. What gas is the primary cause of global warming? 1. Oxygen. 2. Nitrogen. 3. Carbon dioxide. Or 4. Hydrogen.
The correct choice is 3. Carbon dioxide. While nitrogen and oxygen make up 99% of the air, they are transparent to infrared heat.
Meaning heat passes right through them.
Exactly. Carbon dioxide, however, has a unique molecular structure. When the sun warms the Earth tries to radiate that heat back out into space. CO2 molecules absorb that outgoing heat and scatter it back down, acting exactly like a thermal blanket wrapped around the planet.
Question 18 brings us to Sir Isaac Newton. Intent is SI units for force. What is the standard SI unit of force? 1 joule, 2 Newton, 3 watt, or 4 Pascal? I think the answer is right there in the setup.
It is indeed. The correct choice is 2 Newton. Force is scientifically defined as a push or pull that can cause an object with mass to accelerate.
Like an apple falling on a head.
Exactly. To honor Isaac Newton's foundational laws of motion, the international scientific community named the unit of force after him. Just for context, joules measure energy, watts measure power, and pascals measure pressure.
Question 19 is a tricky one about the periodic table. Intent is states of matter. Most metals are hard and solid, like iron or gold. Which of these metals is famously a liquid at room temperature? 1. Iron. 2. Mercury. 3. Copper. Or 4. Aluminium.
The correct choice is 2. Mercury. It is incredibly unique. Due to complex relativistic effects in how its electrons orbit the nucleus, Mercury atoms simply don't want to bond tightly to one another.
So they stay loose.
Right, so at normal room temperatures, it doesn't form a rigid solid, it sloshes around as a heavy, silvery liquid. This predictable expansion is exactly why it was historically used inside glass thermometers.
And just a quick note for me, do not confuse the liquid metal Mercury with the planet Mercury we just talked about. They are very different.
Good tip.
Question 20 asks about fire again. Intent is fire thresholds. What is the specific term for the absolute lowest temperature at which a substance will catch fire? 1. Boiling point. 2. Melting point. 3. Ignition temperature. Or 4. Freezing point.
The correct choice is 3. Ignition temperature. Think of a thick log. You can hold a match to it and it won't burst into flames.
Because it's too big.
Not just size, it requires a massive input of thermal energy to begin the chemical reaction of burning. Until the wood reaches its specific ignition temperature, it cannot combust. Paper has a very low ignition temperature, which is why it catches fire instantly.
Okay, we're into the final stretch of the science gauntlet, reviewing Class 7 concepts. Question 21. Intent is plant food. By what process do green plants prepare their own food? 1. Respiration. 2. Photosynthesis. 3. Transpiration. Or 4. Digestion.
The correct choice is 2. Photosynthesis. Animals have to hunt or forage for energy. Plants are self-sustaining biochemical factories.
They make their own?
Exactly. They use a green pigment called chlorophyll to capture solar energy, mixing it with carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil to synthesize glucose, which is sugar. The beautiful byproduct of this process is the oxygen we breathe.
Question 22 looks inside the human body. Intent is gland sizes. Which of these is the largest gland? 1. Pancreas. 2. Liver. 3. Salivary gland. Or 4. Thyroid.
The correct choice is 2. Liver. The liver is a massive wedge-shaped organ sitting on the right side of your abdomen.
Bigger than the pancreas.
Much bigger. While the thyroid controls metabolism and the pancreas manages blood sugar, the liver is physically the largest. It performs hundreds of jobs, but as a gland, its main role in digestion is producing bile, a harsh fluid essential for breaking down and absorbing fats.
Question 23 is about how heat travels. Intent is heat transfer in solids. If I hold one end of a solid iron rod and put the other end in a fire, the heat eventually reaches my hand. How? 1. Conduction. 2. Convection. 3. Radiation. Or 4. Evaporation. I know convection is how boiling water moves, right?
You're exactly right. Convection requires fluids or gases to physically circulate. In a solid iron rod, the atoms are locked in a rigid crystalline grid. They cannot float around.
So how does the heat move?
So the correct choice is 1. Conduction. The atoms stuck in the fire get hot and start vibrating violently. They literally smash into their neighboring atoms, passing the kinetic energy down the line, atom by atom, until the heat reaches your hand.
Question 24 is a classic chemistry lab test. Intent is the litmus test. What color does an acid turn blue litmus paper into? 1. Green. 2. Red. 3. Yellow. Or 4. Black.
The correct choice is 2. Red. Litmus is a natural dye extracted from lichens that reacts to the pH level of a liquid.
So it's an indicator.
Yes. The universal rule is that acidic solutions, like lemon juice or vinegar, will turn blue litmus paper red. Basic solutions, like soap, will turn red litmus paper blue.
The easiest way to remember this, you guys, is acids are dangerous. Red means danger. If it turns red, it's an acid. Question 25 asks us to classify a change. Intent is physical versus chemical changes. When an iron nail is left in the rain and gets rusty, what kind of change is that? 1. Physical. 2. Chemical. 3. Reversible. Or 4. Temporary.
The correct choice is 2. Chemical change. A physical change alters the shape, but not the substance. If I melt the iron nail, it is still iron.
But rust is different.
Entirely different. The iron chemically bonds with atmospheric oxygen and water to create a brand new compound called iron oxide. Because a new molecular substance is formed and you cannot easily turn rust back into pure iron, it is a chemical change.
Question 26 dives into sports biology. Intent is respiration and muscle cramps. If you run a heavy sprint, your muscles might cramp up. What substance is produced by the partial breakdown of glucose that causes this? 1. Carbon dioxide. 2. Lactic acid. 3. Alcohol. Or 4. Glucose.
The correct choice is 2. Lactic acid. Normally, your body uses oxygen to cleanly burn glucose for energy. But during intense exercise, your lungs simply cannot deliver oxygen fast enough to meet the demand.
So what does the body do?
To keep you moving, your muscles switch to an emergency backup system called anaerobic respiration. This breaks down glucose without oxygen, but the sloppy byproduct is lactic acid. It builds up in the muscle tissue, causing that intense burning sensation and cramping.
Question 27 looks at the internal plumbing of a plant. Intent is water movement. Which structure carries water and minerals upward from the roots to the leaves? 1. Phloem. 2. Xylem. 3. Stomata. Or 4. Chlorophyll.
The correct choice is 2. Xylem. Plants have a dual highway vascular system.
Highway.
Like a highway, yes. Through capillary action and the suction caused by water evaporating from the leaves, the xylem acts as a series of microscopic pipes that pull water straight up against gravity.
And what does the phloem do?
The other highway, the phloem, is responsible for taking the sugary food made in the leaves and transporting it down to feed the rest of the plant.
A foolproof way to keep them straight, use the end of the alphabet. WXYZ. Water goes with xylem. For the other one, food flows in phloem, they both share that F sound.
That's brilliant.
Question 28 asks about the transfer of pollen. Intent is plant reproduction. What is the process of moving pollen from the anther to the stigma called? 1. Fertilization. 2. Germination. 3. Pollination. Or 4. Respiration.
The correct choice is 3, pollination. Before fertilization can even happen, the genetic material has to be physically transported.
Right, it has to get there first.
Exactly. Whether a bee carries it on its fuzzy legs or the wind blows it through the air, that specific journey of the pollen grain from the male anther to the female stigma is defined purely as pollination.
Question 29 is a fundamental physics definition. Intent is SI unit of time. What is the standard SI unit of time? 1 minute, 2 hour, 3 second, or 4 day. I mean, I feel like day makes the most logical sense since it's based on the Earth spinning.
Historically, yes, time was measured by celestial movements. But for precise modern science, the correct choice is 3 second.
Really? Just the second?
In the International System of Units, the second is the absolute foundational base. Currently, it is defined by the hyper-precise vibrations of a cesium atom. Minutes, hours, and days are just larger mathematical multiples built on top of the fundamental second.
Wow. Question 30 brings us back to everyday appliances. Intent is electricity mechanics. When you turn on an electric space heater, why does it get hot? What effect of electric currents is this? 1. Magnetic effect. 2. Heating effect. 3. Chemical effect. Or 4. Lighting effect.
The correct choice is 2, heating effect. Inside that heater is a coil of special wire with very high electrical resistance. It does not want to let electricity pass through.
So it fights back.
Basically. As the voltage forces millions of electrons to shove their way through the wire, they constantly crash into the metal atoms. This microscopic friction generates intense thermal energy, causing the wire to glow red hot.
Question 31 explores storms and wind. Intent is air pressure dynamics, specifically Bernoulli's principle. What happens to air pressure as the speed of the wind increases? 1. Increases. 2. Decreases. 3. Stays the same. Or 4. Becomes 0. Instinctually, fast wind hitting you feels like high pressure.
It does feel that way, but Bernoulli's principle reveals a counterintuitive reality. The correct choice is 2, decreases. Fast-moving fluids exert lower pressure than still fluids.
That is so weird.
Think about a hurricane hitting a house. The incredibly fast wind rushing over the roof creates a pocket of very low pressure outside. The still air trapped inside the house is at normal, higher pressure.
And then what?
That internal high pressure pushes outward and upward, physically popping the roof off the house.
That is terrifying and fascinating. Let me remind you why roofs fly off in hurricanes rather than being crushed in. Question 32 looks at the ground. Intent is soil layers. Soil is organized into layers, which is the uppermost layer. 1. Bedrock. 2. Subsoil. 3. Topsoil. Or 4. Gravel.
The correct choice is 3. Topsoil. Soil formation takes millennia. The solid bedrock is at the very bottom. Above that is the subsoil, which is mostly broken rocks and clay.
But the top is where things grow.
Exactly. The topmost horizon, the topsoil, is where the magic happens. It is dark and rich because it is packed with humus, decaying organic matter, which provides the essential nutrients necessary for plant roots to grow.
Question 33 is about mirrors again, but this time curved ones. Intent is light and concave mirrors. A concave mirror curves inward like a bowl. What is a practical use for it? 1. Rear-view mirror in vehicles. 2. Shaving or makeup mirror. 3. Window glass. Or 4. Speed breaker.
The correct choice is 2, shaving or makeup mirror. A concave mirror converges light. When you hold your face very close to it, the optics manipulate the light to create an upright, highly magnified image of your face.
Perfect for shaving.
Yes. A rear-view mirror on a car is the opposite. It is convex, bulging outward, which shrinks the image to give you a wider field of view of the road behind you.
Question 34 is an ecology question. Intent is recycling dead matter. Countless leaves and animals die in a forest, but the forest floor doesn't pile up endlessly. What breaks down this dead matter? 1. Green plants. 2. Decomposers like fungi and bacteria. 3. Sunlight only. Or 4. Rainwater only.
The correct choice is 2, decomposers. Fungi, bacteria, and certain insects are nature's ultimate recycling plant.
They clean up the mess.
They do more than that. They secrete special enzymes that chemically dissolve dead organic tissue, consuming the energy and releasing the locked up nitrogen, phosphorus, and carbon back into the soil. Without decomposers, the nutrient cycle would completely halt and all plant life would starve.
Final question in the science section, question 35. Intent is trapped heat and pollution. What do we call the phenomenon where atmospheric gases trap the sun's heat? 1, water cycle, 2, greenhouse effect, 3, carbon cycle, or 4, ozone layer?
The correct choice is 2, greenhouse effect. A botanical greenhouse is made of glass. It lets visible sunlight in to warm the plants, but the glass prevents the resulting infrared heat from escaping.
Like the CO2 blanket we talked about.
Exactly. Certain gases in our atmosphere, like the carbon dioxide we discussed earlier, act exactly like that glass roof. A mild greenhouse effect is why Earth isn't a frozen ice ball, but human activity is currently making that glass roof far too thick.
And exhale. I am giving you a massive, well-deserved virtual high five right now. You just survived all 35 science questions. Take a brief mental stretch.
You've earned it.
The Social Science Expedition.
Social science covers history, geography, and civics. And I want you to remember something crucial here. The dates, battles, and articles we are about to discuss are not just dry numbers to memorize.
They're real stories.
They're the exact coordinates of societal evolution. They're the moments people fought for power, rights, and survival.
Let's get into it. Question 36 is about the birth of modern India. Intent is civics constitution dates. On what exact date did the Constitution of India come into effect? 1, 15 August 1947, 2, 26 November 1949, 3, 26 January 1950, or 4, 2 October 1950?
The correct choice is 3, 26 January 1950. This is a classic test trap, so you really need to pay attention.
What's the trap?
The drafting committee finished their work and officially adopted the text on November 26, 1949, but the leaders intentionally waited 2 months. On January 26, 1950, they legally enforced it, transitioning India from a dominion to a fully sovereign republic.
And that date is exactly why we celebrate Republic Day. Study tip: distinguish between adopted in November 1949 and came into effect in Jan 1950. Question 37 pulls us back to 1757, a turning point in history, the Battle of Plassey. Who did the British East India Company defeat to win this battle?
Good history question.
Intent is History Battle of Plassey. Choices are 1, Tipu Sultan, 2, Siraj-ud-Dowlah, 3, Mir Jafar, or 4, Rani Lakshmibai.
The correct choice is 2, Siraj-ud-Dowlah. He was the young Nawab of Bengal, sitting on immense wealth. The British company wanted to control that trade.
Did they win in a fair fight?
No, they didn't win primarily through military might. They won through treachery. They secretly bribed the Nawab's own commander, Mir Jafar, who refused to fight when the battle started. Siraj-ud-Dowlah was defeated and killed, and the British effectively became the rulers of Bengal.
It's basically a real-life Game of Thrones. My mnemonic, Plassey 57, 1757, was a clash of power. P for Plassey, P for power. Question 38 looks at geography and resource types. Which of the following is a renewable resource? 1, coal, 2, petroleum, 3, solar energy, or 4, natural gas? We talked about exhaustible fuels earlier, so I think the answer is obvious.
Exactly. The correct choice is 3, solar energy. Coal, petroleum, and natural gas are fossil fuels that will absolutely run out.
But the sun is forever.
Right. The sun bombards the Earth with staggering amounts of radiant energy every single day and will continue to do so for billions of years. For all human intents and purposes, it is a constantly renewing, infinite power source.
Question 39 brings us back to civics. Intent is parliament structure. The Indian parliament is divided into 2 houses. What is the name of the lower house where members are directly elected by the public? 1, Rajya Sabha, 2, Lok Sabha, 3, Vidhan Sabha, or 4, Gram Sabha?
The correct choice is 2, Lok Sabha. In a democracy, the people must have a direct voice. The Rajya Sabha is the upper house, representing the states, and its members are indirectly elected.
In the Lok Sabha.
The Lok Sabha translates directly to the House of the People. Citizens vote directly for their local member of parliament to sit in this lower house.
The easiest way to never forget this mnemonic. L for Lok, L for lower house. Question 40 is about regional agriculture and soils. The Deccan Plateau has a very specific type of soil. Which soil is most suitable for growing cotton there? 1, alluvial soil, 2, black soil, 3, red soil, or 4, laterite soil?
The correct choice is 2, black soil. Millions of years ago, massive volcanic eruptions covered the Deccan Plateau in basalt lava.
Lava made the soil.
Yes, as that rock weathered down, it formed a deep black clay. This clay has a superpower. It swells when wet and holds onto moisture relentlessly during the dry season. This specific moisture-retaining property makes it the absolute perfect environment for cotton plants to thrive.
My tip for this is just hardwire the phrase black cotton soil into your brain. Treat it like one long word. Question 41 is a pivotal history question. Intent is Diwani rights. After which battle did the British East India Company gain the Diwani of Bengal in 1765? 1. Battle of Panipat. 2. Battle of Buxar. 3. Battle of Haldigati. Or 4. Battle of Talikota.
The correct choice is 2. Battle of Buxar. Plassey gave the British a foothold, but the Battle of Buxar in 1764 cemented their empire.
How so?
The British defeated a massive combined army of 3 Indian rulers. The resulting treaty forced the Mughal emperor to grant the company the Diwani, which is the legal official right to collect all land revenue and taxes across Bengal, Bihar, and Orissa. They were no longer just traders, they were the government.
Question 42 is the direct follow-up. Intent is land revenue history. Once they had the right to collect taxes, they needed a system. Who introduced the permanent settlement of land revenue in Bengal in 1793? 1. Warren Hastings. 2. Lord Cornwallis. 3. Lord Dalhousie. Or 4. Robert Clive.
The correct choice is 2. Lord Cornwallis. The British wanted a guaranteed, predictable flow of money.
So what was the system?
Cornwallis designed a system where local landlords, the zamindars, were given permanent ownership of the land. In exchange, they had to pay a strictly fixed, permanent amount of tax to the British every year, regardless of whether the harvest was good or if there was a devastating famine.
A funny little mnemonic to lock this in. Corn grows permanently in the soil. Cornwallis equals permanent settlement. Question 43 looks at the resistance against these policies. Intent is tribal movements. Birsa Munda was a legendary leader who organized a major uprising among which tribal group? 1. Marathas, 2. Mundas, 3. Rajputs, or 4. Sikhs.
The clue is right there in the name. The correct choice is 2. Mundas. Birsa Munda was a charismatic young visionary from the Chotan Nagpur Plateau.
Why were they rebelling?
The British and their outsider landlords, whom the tribals called dikas, were destroying the traditional tribal way of life and stealing their forests. Birsa organized a fierce guerrilla rebellion to reclaim their ancestral lands and cultural dignity.
Question 44 takes us to 1857, the Great Uprising. Intent is the origin of the 1857 revolt. Where did the revolt of 1857 first violently break out? 1. Delhi. 2. Meerut. 3. Jhansi. Or 4. Kanpur. I know it spread everywhere, but where was ground zero?
The correct choice is 2. Meerut. Tension had been boiling for years among the sepoys, the Indian soldiers in the British Army.
What was the spark?
The spark was a rumor that the new rifle cartridges were greased with cow and pig fat, deeply offending both Hindu and Muslim soldiers. On May 10, 1857, sepoys in the cantonment of Meerut openly mutinied, killed their British officers, and immediately marched overnight to Delhi to ignite the rest of the country.
Question 45 deals with what happened when they reached Delhi. Intent is 1857 leadership. Who did the rebels declare as their supreme leader? 1. Akbar. 2. Aurangzeb. 3. Bahadur Shah Zafar. Or 4. Shah Jahan.
The correct choice is 3. Bahadur Shah Zafar. A massive, chaotic rebellion needs a unifying symbol of legitimacy.
So they chose the emperor.
Yes. When the mutineers arrived at the Red Fort, they forced the aging, frail, and largely powerless last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, to nominally lead the revolt. When the British eventually brutally crushed the uprising, they captured him, murdered his sons, and exiled him to die in Rangoon, officially ending the Mughal dynasty forever.
Question 46 shifts to how the British tried to engineer Indian society. Intent is Wood's Dispatch. In 1854, a major policy called Wood's Dispatch was issued. What was it concerning? 1. Land revenue. 2. Education in India. 3. The army. Or 4. Railways.
The correct choice is 2. Education in India. Often called the Magna Carta of English education in India, Charles Wood's document laid out a massive bureaucratic plan.
What did it do?
It declared that the government must take responsibility for education, promoted Western science over traditional learning, established English as the medium for higher studies, and ordered the creation of universities in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras.
A great visualization trick. Imagine thousands of wooden desks being dispatched on ships to build schools across the country. Wood's Dispatch equals education. Question 47 explores a profound internal push for social reform. Intent is social reform history. Raja Ram Mohan Roy is best remembered for his campaign to abolish which practice? 1. Child labor. 2. Sati. 3. Slavery. Or 4. Untouchability.
The correct choice is 2. Sati. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a brilliant scholar of the Indian Renaissance. He was horrified by the practice of sati, where widows were forced to burn to death on their husbands' funeral pyres.
How did he fight it?
He translated ancient Hindu texts to rigorously prove to both Orthodox society and the British that sati had absolutely no scriptural mandate. His relentless campaigning pushed the British Governor-General to legally ban sati in 1829.
Question 48 marks the formal beginning of the organized national movement. Intent is national movement dates. In what year was the Indian National Congress founded? 1. 1857, 2. 1885, 3. 1905, or 4. 1947.
The correct choice is 2. 1885. A growing class of English-educated Indians realized that isolated regional protests were easily ignored by the British.
They needed to unite.
Exactly. They needed a unified national voice. In December 1885, a group of 72 delegates convened in Bombay to hold the very first session of the Indian National Congress, laying the foundation for the political struggle that would eventually win independence.
Question 49 flashes forward to that independence. Intent is post-independence leaders. Who was the first prime minister of Free India? 1. Sardar Patel. 2. Jawaharlal Nehru. 3. Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Or 4. Mahatma Gandhi.
The correct choice is 2. Jawaharlal Nehru. On the midnight of August 15, 1947, Nehru delivered his famous Tryst with Destiny speech and assumed the role of the first prime minister.
Any others?
He would go on to shape India's early economic planning and non-aligned foreign policy. Dr. Rajendra Prasad served as the first president, and Sardar Patel was the brilliant first home minister who unified the princely states.
Let's jump back several centuries for question 50. Intent is Mughal Empire founding. Who founded the Mughal Empire in India? 1. Akbar. 2. Babur. 3. Humayun. Or 4. Sher Shah Suri.
The correct choice is 2. Babur. In 1526, the ambitious Central Asian ruler Babur faced the massive army of the Delhi Sultan, Ibrahim Lodi, at the First Battle of Panipat.
Outnumbered, right.
Babur's forces were vastly outnumbered, yes, but he utilized highly disciplined cavalry tactics and, crucially, a terrifying new technology on the subcontinent, gunpowder artillery. His decisive victory established the Mughal Empire.
Question 51 looks at the power centers of South India. Intent is Vijayanagara Empire. Who was the most famous and powerful ruler of the Vijayanagara Empire? 1. Krishnadeva Raya. 2. Prataparudra. 3. Rajara Chola. Or 4. Pulikeshin II.
The correct choice is 1. Krishnadeva Raya. Reigning in the early 1500s, he was an unparalleled military genius who secured the empire's borders against multiple rival kingdoms.
He was also a patron of the arts, wasn't he?
Yes. Beyond war, he was a massive patron of literature, art, and temple architecture, making his rule the absolute golden, most prosperous age of the Vijayanagara Empire.
Let's switch gears to geography basics with question 52. Intent is defining resources. What do we call substances found in nature that are useful to human beings? 1. Products. 2. Resources. 3. Industries. Or 4. Services.
The correct choice is 2. Resources. In geographic and economic terms, a rock is just a rock. But the moment a human realizes they can use that rock to build a house or extract metal from it, it acquires utility.
So usefulness makes it a resource.
Any naturally occurring substance that possesses utility and value to satisfy human needs is officially classified as a natural resource.
Question 53 is about how land is built. Intent is alluvial soil formation. The vast, incredibly fertile northern plains of India are covered in alluvial soil. How is it mainly formed? 1. Volcanic lava. 2. Deposits brought by rivers. 3. Strong winds. Or 4. Melting glaciers only.
The correct choice is 2. Deposits brought by rivers. Massive river systems like the Ganga and Brahmaputra originate high in the Himalayas. As they rush down the steep mountains, the violent water erodes the rock.
And then what happened?
When the rivers hit the flat plains, they slow down and lose energy. They drop all the fine silt, sand, and clay they were carrying. Over thousands of years, these river deposits have built up deep, nutrient-rich alluvial plains.
Question 54 classifies what we pull out of that ground. Intent is mineral classification. Which of the following is a metallic mineral? 1. Coal. 2. Limestone. 3. Iron ore. Or 4. Mica.
The correct choice is 3. Iron ore. Minerals are categorized by their chemical makeup. Metallic minerals contain raw metals that can be extracted through intense heat, a process called smelting.
You melt iron ore to get pure iron.
Right. Coal is an organic fossil fuel, while limestone and mica are non-metallic minerals used for cement and electrical insulation.
Question 55 takes us to modern agriculture. Intent is the Green Revolution. In the mid-20th century, the Green Revolution saved millions from starvation. What crop production saw the biggest increase? 1. Cotton and jute. 2. Food grains like wheat. 3. Tea and coffee. Or 4. Fish and meat.
The correct choice is 2. Food grains like wheat. India was facing severe food shortages at the time. Scientists introduced high-yielding variety seeds, heavily coupled with chemical fertilizers and irrigation grids.
Focusing on basics.
The immediate focus wasn't on cash crops or meat, it was on staple food grains, primarily wheat and rice in states like Punjab and Haryana, creating a massive spike in production that made the country self-sufficient.
Let's dig deeper into the Earth for question 56. Intent is Earth's structure. Our planet is structured in layers. What is the innermost layer called? 1. Crust. 2. Mantle. 3. Core. Or 4. Atmosphere.
The correct choice is 3. Core. If you slice the Earth in half, the crust is the eggshell we live on. Below that is the deep, thick mantle of hot, semi-solid rock.
And in the middle.
Right in the center, nearly 4,000 miles down, is the core. It is unimaginably hot and dense, made mostly of iron and nickel, and its movement generates the Earth's protective magnetic field.
Question 57 stays underground. Intent is defining molten rock. Deep below the surface, temperatures melt solid rock into a hot liquid. What is it called while it is still below the Earth's surface? 1. Lava. 2. Magma. 3. Sediment. Or 4. Mineral.
The correct choice is 2. Magma. This is entirely a question of geography. Chemically, it is the exact same molten rock.
But the name changes based on where it is.
Geologists use different terms based on location. While it is trapped deep in underground chambers, it is magma. The exact second it violently erupts out of a volcano and touches the open air, the name changes to lava.
Mnemonic time. Magma is muffled deep under the ground. Lava is let loose above the ground. Question 58 takes us from the deep earth up into the sky. Intent is atmosphere makeup. What gas is the most abundant in Earth's atmosphere? 1. Oxygen. 2. Carbon dioxide. 3. Nitrogen. Or 4. Argon.
The correct choice is 3. Nitrogen. Humans are highly oxygen-centric because we need it to survive, but oxygen is highly reactive and only makes up about 21% of the air.
What if we had more?
If the atmosphere is mostly oxygen, lightning strikes would cause the whole world to burn. Thankfully, nitrogen is a very stable, unreactive gas, and it makes up a massive 7-8% of the atmosphere, acting as a safe buffer.
Question 59 looks at the ocean. Intent is ocean movements. What do we call the periodic rise and fall of the sea level? 1. Waves. 2. Tides. 3. Currents. Or 4. Rainfall.
The correct choice is 2. Tides. Waves are just surface ripples created by the wind. Tides are planetary scale movements.
Driven by the moon, right?
Yes. The massive gravitational pull of the moon actually reaches across space and physically tugs on the Earth's oceans, creating a bulge of water. As the Earth rotates through that bulge every day, coastal areas experience the regular, predictable rise and fall of high and low tides.
Question 60 is an economics question about global logistics. Intent is transport economics. If I have thousands of tons of heavy cargo, what is the absolute cheapest way to transport it over long distances? 1. Airways. 2. Roadways. 3. Waterways. Or 4. Pipelines.
The correct choice is 3. Waterways. Moving things takes energy, mostly to overcome friction. Airplanes and trucks burn massive amounts of fuel fighting air resistance and road friction.
But ships are different.
A massive cargo ship floating in deep water experiences incredibly low friction. Because of this buoyancy, a single engine can slowly push tens of thousands of tons of cargo across an ocean, making the cost per item incredibly cheap.
Question 61 is highly specific to the mapping of India. Intent is IST meridian. To avoid the chaos of different time zones, the country uses Indian Standard Time. Which specific longitude meridian is used as the standard? 1. 68 degrees 7 minutes east. 2. 82 degrees 30 minutes east. 3. 90 degrees east. Or 4. 23 degrees 30 minutes north.
The correct choice is 2. 82 degrees 30 minutes east. The extreme west of Gujarat and the extreme east of Arunachal Pradesh are far enough apart that their sunrise times differ by nearly 2 hours.
That would be confusing.
To synchronize trains, business, and broadcasting, the government selected the 82 degrees 30 minutes east longitude, which passes right through Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh near the center of the country. They declared that the exact local time there dictates the clock for the entire nation.
Question 62 moves to civics and the bedrock of the Constitution. Intent is defining secularism. What does it officially mean for India to be a secular state? 1, it has one official religion. 2, the state treats all religions equally. 3, religion is banned. Or 4, only the majority religion is followed. Now, to be clear, we're just looking at the strict legal definition here.
Exactly. We were looking purely at the constitutional framework. The correct choice is 2. The state treats all religions equally.
So no state religion.
By constitutional mandate, the government of India does not establish or endorse any single state religion. It maintains institutional neutrality, guaranteeing that every citizen has the fundamental right to freely profess, practice, and propagate the religion of their choice without state interference or discrimination.
Question 63 looks at the architecture of justice. Intent is judiciary hierarchy. What is the highest court in India? 1, High Court. 2, District Court. 3, Supreme Court. Or 4, Family Court.
The correct choice is 3, Supreme Court. The legal system is a hierarchy. District courts handle local cases. If you appeal, you move up to the state-level high courts.
And the top.
The absolute apex of the pyramid is the Supreme Court in New Delhi. It is the final interpreter of the Constitution, and its rulings are legally binding on every other court and citizen in the country.
Question 64 addresses a specific social justice mechanism within the Constitution. Intent is social justice and untouchability. Which article legally abolished the historical practice of untouchability? 1, Article 14, 2, Article 17, 3, Article 21, or 4, Article 51.
The correct choice is 2, Article 17. The framers of the Constitution were determined to build a society based on dignity.
What does the article say?
Well, Article 14 establishes general equality before the law. Article 17 goes a step further by explicitly and absolutely forbidding untouchability in any form whatsoever. It makes any discrimination based on this outdated social hierarchy a punishable criminal offense.
Question 65 is the core definition of our political system. Intent is defining democracy. How is the government chosen in a democracy? 1, the army. 2, the people through elections. 3, a single ruler. Or 4, the richest families.
The correct choice is 2, the people through elections. The word democracy itself comes from the Greek demos meaning the people and kratos meaning power.
Power to the people.
Unlike a monarchy ruled by a king or a dictatorship ruled by force, a democracy operates on the principle that ultimate power resides with the citizens, who delegate that power by casting votes in regular free elections to choose their representatives.
Question 66 is about educational rights. Intent is right to education. Which article makes free and compulsory elementary education a fundamental right? 1, 21A, 2, 19, 3, 25, or 4, 32.
The correct choice is 1, 21A. The government realized that a democracy cannot truly function if its citizens are uneducated.
When was this added?
In 2002, the 86th Amendment was passed, inserting Article 21A into the Constitution. It specifically legally mandates that the state must provide free and compulsory education to all children between the ages of 6 and 14.
Question 67 focuses on protecting vulnerable workers. Intent is labor laws. What is the term for the absolute lowest amount of money an employer is legally allowed to pay a worker? 1, bonus. 2, minimum wage. 3, pension. Or 4, tax.
The correct choice is 2, minimum wage. In a free market, an employer might try to exploit desperate workers by paying them pennies.
Just to save money.
To prevent this exploitation and ensure a baseline standard of living, the government legally dictates a floor price for labor. Paying any worker an amount lower than this declared minimum wage is a serious legal violation.
Question 68 is about the executive branch. Intent is presidential term. How long is the term of the President of India? 1, 4 years. 2, 5 years. 3, 6 years. Or 4, 2 years.
The correct choice is 2, 5 years. While the Prime Minister holds the real executive power, the President is the ceremonial head of state.
How are they elected?
They are not elected directly by the public, but by an electoral college made up of parliament members and state legislators, receiving a standard constitutional term of 5 years.
Question 69 zooms into the geography of Andhra Pradesh specifically. Intent is local rivers. Which river is famously called the Dakshina Ganga, or the Ganga of the South? 1, Krishna. 2, Godavari. 3, Penna. Or 4, Tungabhadra.
The correct choice is 2, Godavari. Originating in the Western Ghats, the Godavari is the second longest river in India after the Ganga.
Why the special title?
Because of its massive, sprawling catchment area, its importance to regional agriculture, and its deep spiritual significance to the millions who live along its banks, it has earned the reverent title of the Dakshina Ganga.
A super quick memory trick for that one. Gigi Godavari is the Ganga of the South. And now, question 70, the final social science question. Intent is resource development. Resources like high-speed winds or deep uranium deposits that are known to exist but aren't being fully utilized yet are called what? 1, actual resources, 2, potential resources, 3, human resources, or 4, renewable resources.
The correct choice is 2, potential resources. If a coal mine is currently active and powering a city, it is an actual resource.
Because we are using it right now.
But if we know a region has incredibly strong winds, but we haven't built the expensive wind turbines to harness them yet, that energy is just waiting there. It has potential. Therefore, it is categorized as a potential resource until the technology and investment arrive to exploit it.
You did it. 2 massive sections are behind you. Shake off the history dates and the geography terms, because we are now entering section 3, the mathematics matrix.
Let's do this.
Math requires a different kind of stamina. It isn't about memorizing trivia. It is a rigid system of logic.
Exactly. Math is just a puzzle with strict rules. For these final 20 questions, I want you to visualize the numbers. We are going to walk through the logic methodically. Do not guess. Calculate.
Let's do it. Question 71. Intent is making a perfect square, by which smallest whole number must 48 be multiplied so that the product becomes a perfect square. The choices are 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, or 4, 6. Let's break this down.
To solve this, we use prime factorization. We need to find what basic prime numbers multiply together to make 48. Let's break it in half. 48 is 16 times 3. Now break down the 16. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So the complete prime makeup of 48 is 4 2s and 1 3.
Okay, I have my list. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3.
Perfect. Now the rule for a perfect square is that every single prime factor must have a partner to form a pair. Let's look at your list. The 4 2s form 2 perfect pairs.
But the 3 is alone.
But that single 3 is left all alone. To make the whole number a perfect square, we simply need to provide a partner for that 3 by multiplying the whole thing by 3.
So the correct choice is 2, 3. And if I test it, 48 multiplied by 3 gives me 144. And the square root of 144 is 12. The logic is flawless. Let's tackle an algebra puzzle in question 72. Intent is solving linear equations for x. Solve for x, x divided by 2 plus 3 equals 7. The choices are 1, x equals 5, 2, x equals 6, 3, x equals 8, or 4, x equals 10.
In algebra, when you need to isolate a variable like x, you just perform the opposite operations to work your way backward. We have an addition of 3 on the left side.
The opposite is subtracting 3.
Let's do that to both sides. 7 minus 3 is 4. So now our equation is simply x divided by 2 equals 4.
And the opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. So if I multiply both sides by 2, the left side is just x, and 4 times 2 is 8. So x equals 8. The correct choice is 3.
Always plug it back in to check your work. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. Perfect match.
Question 73 is about business math. Intent is comparing quantities to find profit percentage. A shopkeeper buys an article for 400 rupees and sells it for 500 rupees. What is his profit percent? Choices: 1, 20%, 2, 25%, 3, 10%, or 4, 40%.
First, we calculate the raw monetary profit. He sold it for 500, he bought it for 400. 500 minus 400 equals a profit of 100 rupees.
Okay, so that's the profit.
Now, the golden rule of business math, profit percentage is always calculated based on the original cost price, not the selling price.
Okay, so I take the profit of 100 and divide it by the original cost of 400. That gives me the fraction 100 over 400, which simplifies down to 1 over 4. And I know that 1/4 of 100% pi is exactly 25%. So the correct choice is 2, 25%.
Exactly right. Question 74 moves into the third dimension with cubes. Intent is cube roots. What is the cube root of 343? Choices: 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, or 4, 9. We need a number that, when multiplied by itself 3 times, equals 343.
I could just start multiplying them all out of my scratch paper, but is there a shortcut?
Yes, look at the last digit of the target number, which is 3. Let's test the choices by only multiplying their last digits. Let's try 6. 6 times 6 is 36. That ends in 6. Multiply by 6 again, it still ends in 6. It will never end in a 3.
Let's try 7.
Let's try 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Now multiply 49 by 7. What is 9 times 7?
9 times 7 is 63, which ends in a 3. Let's do the full math to be sure. 7 times 7 is 49. 49 times 7, well, 50 times 7 is 350, minus 7 is 343. It works perfectly. The correct choice is 2, 7.
Question 75 introduces rational numbers and a fancy term, the additive inverse. What is the additive inverse of the rational number negative 3 over 5? Choices: 1, 5 over 3, 2, 3 over 5, 3, negative 5 over 3, or 4, 0.
The word additive tells me I need to add something. An inverse implies doing the opposite. So I need to add something to negative 3 over 5 to completely wipe it out and get back to 0.
That is the exact mathematical definition. What plus negative 3 over 5 equals 0? It is simply the positive version of the exact same number.
So it's positive.
Positive 3 over 5 perfectly cancels out negative 3 over 5. Therefore, the correct choice is 2, 3 over 5.
Question 76 stays with rational numbers, but now we're looking at the multiplicative identity. Intent is multiplicative identity. What is the multiplicative identity for rational numbers? Choices: 1, 0, 2, 1, 3, negative 1, or 4, 1 over 2.
An identity in math is a value that lets a number keep its original identity after an operation. If you multiply any number by 0, it gets destroyed and becomes 0.
If you multiply by negative 1, it flips its sign.
Yes, it flips its sign and changes identity, but what number can you multiply by that leaves the original number completely untouched?
Only the number 1. 5 times 1 is still 5.
Yep.
1,000,000 times 1 is still 1,000,000. I always tell students to think of the number 1 as a mathematical mirror. You hold a number up to it with multiplication, and it just reflects the exact same number right back. The correct choice is 2, 1.
Beautiful analogy. Let's tackle question 77. Intent is linear equations with variables on both sides. Solve for x. 5x minus 3 equals 2x plus 9. Choices: 1, x equals 3, 2, x equals 4, 3, x equals 5, or 4, x equals 6.
This looks like a messy balance scale. I need to get all the x blocks on the left side and all the plain number blocks on the right side.
Let's start with the x blocks.
Let's start by getting rid of the 2x on the right. I'll subtract 2x from both sides. 5x minus 2x leaves me with 3x on the left, so now I have 3x minus 3 equals 9.
Good. Now move the plain numbers. You have a minus 3 on the left. Add 3 to both sides to cancel it out. 9 plus 3 is 12.
Now your equation is very simple.
Yes, 3x equals 12. 3 times what equals 12? Divide by sides by 3, and x equals 4. The correct choice is 2, x equals 4.
Question 78 moves into geometry. Intent is interior angles sum. Think of any quadrilateral, a shape with 4 straight sides. What is the sum of all its interior angles? 1, 180 degrees, 2, 270 degrees, 3, 360 degrees, or 4, 90 degrees. I know a square has 4 90-degree corners, and 4 times 90 is 360. But does that work for weird, irregular shapes too?
It absolutely does, and there is a brilliant geometric trick to prove it. Draw any random, crazy 4-sided shape on a piece of paper. Now, draw a single straight diagonal line connecting 2 opposite corners. What have you done?
I made 2 triangles.
You have perfectly sliced that 4-sided shape into 2 separate triangles. A fundamental law of geometry is that the interior angles of any triangle always add up to exactly 180 degrees. Since your quadrilateral is made of exactly 2 triangles, you just multiply 180 degrees by 2.
This gives you 360 degrees every single time.
Every time. The correct choice is 360 degrees.
That is such a satisfying way to visualize it. Question 79 asks us to identify a very specific quadrilateral. Intent is defining properties. The question says, a quadrilateral having all sides equal A and D, each angle equal to 90 degrees is called what? Choices: 1, rectangle, 2, rhombus, 3, square, or 4, trapezium.
In geometry definitions, A and D is the most powerful word. The shape must satisfy both strict conditions simultaneously. Let's look at a rectangle. A rectangle has 4 90-degree angles, but it can be long and skinny, so all sides aren't equal. Condition failed.
Let's look at a rhombus.
A rhombus looks like a pushed-over diamond. It has 4 perfectly equal sides, but the angles are sharp and wide, not 90 degrees. Condition failed.
Only the square has both 4 equal sides, A and D, 4 and 90-degree right angles, so the correct choice is 3, square. Question 80 dips into probability. Intent is a coin toss. If a fair coin is tossed once, what is the probability of getting ahead? 1, 1, 2, 1 over 2, 3, 1 over 4, or 4, 0, 0. This feels almost too easy.
Sometimes they are exactly as easy as they look. Probability is always the number of favorable outcomes divided by the total possible outcomes. You want a head. That is one favorable outcome.
A coin has a head and a tail.
Which means there are 2 total possible outcomes. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. The correct choice is 2, 1 over 2.
10 math questions down, only 10 left in the entire test. Question 81 is about data handling. Intent is pie chart angles. If you're looking at a pie chart, what is the total angle of all the sectors converging at the center? 1, 180 degrees, 2, 360 degrees, 3, 90 degrees, or 4, 270 degrees.
A pie chart is simply a visual representation of data within a complete unbroken circle. If you start at the center point, draw a line out, and sweep that line all the way around until it connects back with itself to form the full pie, you have drawn a full circle.
In geometry, a full circle is 360.
Yes, a full rotation around a central point is defined as exactly 360 degrees. The correct choice is 2, 360 degrees.
Question 82 brings us back to perfect squares. Intent is square root of 225. What is the square root of 225? Choices: 1, 13, 2, 14, 3, 15, or 4, 25. Again, I don't want to do long multiplication if I don't have to. Can I use the last digit trick here?
Yes, the last digit trick is your best friend. The target number, 225, ends in a 5. When you multiply a whole number by itself, the only mathematical way the result ends in a 5 is if the original number also ended in a 5.
Looking at the choices, 13 ends in 3, 14 ends in 4.
Throw them out. Only 15 and 25 are possible.
Okay, let's test 15. 15 times 15. I'll break it down. 10 times 15 is 150. 5 times 15 is 75. If I turn 50 plus 75 equals exactly 2 to 25, we found it. The correct choice is 3, 15.
Question 83 is highly practical math that adults use every day, simple interest. Find the simple interest earned on the 1,000 rupees deposited at 10% per annum for 2 years. Choices 1, 100 rupees, 2, 200 rupees, 3, 300 rupees, or 4, 1,200 rupees.
I know the formula for this. Simple interest equals principal multiplied by rate multiplied by time, all divided by 100. Let's plug in the numbers. The principal, the starting money, is 1,000. The rate is 10.
The time is 2 years. So 1,000 times 10 is 10,000. And 10,000 times 2 is 20,000.
Correct. Now for the final step, divide that 20,000 by 100 to account for the percentage. Dividing by 100 just means knocking the last 2 zeros off the number. 20,000 becomes 200. The bank will pay you exactly 200 rupees in interest over those 2 years. The correct choice is 2.
Question 84 is a fundamental algebraic identity that haunts every high school student. Intent is expanding a plus b squared. What is the expanded form of a plus b squared? 1, a squared plus b squared. 2, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. 3, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Or 4, 2a plus 2b.
The biggest mistake students make is just distributing the square to get a squared plus b squared. But a plus b squared literally means a plus b multiplied by another a plus b.
Right.
You have to use the distributive property, often called the FOIL method.
You multiply the first terms.
A times A is a squared. The outer terms, A times B is A. But the inner terms, B times A is A. And the last terms, B times B is B squared. So you have a squared plus ab plus B squared. You combine those two middle ab terms together and you get a squared plus 2ab plus B squared. The correct choice is 3. My expert tip for you listening, never ever forget the 2ab middle child. So many students leave the poor middle child completely out.
Question 85 is about polynomials. Find the degree of the polynomial 3x squared plus 2x plus 1. Choices 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, or 4, 0.
What does degree actually mean in this context?
By strict algebraic definition, the degree of a polynomial in one variable is simply the highest exponent or power attached to any variable in the entire expression. Let's stand the terms. 3x squared has a power of 2.
The middle term 2x has an invisible power of 1.
A constant 1 at the end technically has a variable power of 0. Out of 2, 1, and 0, the highest number is 2. Therefore, the degree of the entire polynomial is 2. The correct choice is 2.
Question 86 involves exponents. Intent is negative powers. What is the value of 2 raised to the power of negative 2? Or 2 to the power of negative 2. Choices: 1, 4, 2, negative 4, 3, 1 over 4, or 4, negative 1 over 4. My brain sees a negative sign and wants to just make the answer negative.
That is the trap. A negative exponent has absolutely nothing to do with making the final number negative. A negative exponent is actually an instruction code.
An instruction to do what?
It tells you to find the reciprocal. It tells you to flip the number to the bottom of a fraction. So 2 to the power of negative 2 instantly becomes 1 over 2 squared.
Ah, okay. So the negative sign just pushes it downstairs. And once it's downstairs, it becomes a normal positive exponent. 2 squared is 4. So the final answer is 1 over 4. The correct choice is 3, 1 over 4.
Question 87 takes us back to measuring shapes. Calculate the area of a triangle that has a base of 10 centimeters and a height of 6 centimeters. Choices: 1, 60 centimeters squared, 2, 30 centimeters squared, 3, 16 centimeters squared, or 4, 32 centimeters squared.
If it were a rectangle, I just multiply base times height. 10 times 6 is 60. Is it that simple?
Almost. If you draw a rectangle with a base of 10 and height of 6, the area is 60. But a triangle is exactly half of a rectangle.
Therefore, the formula is half base times height.
The universally standard formula for the area of a triangle is 1/2 multiplied by the base multiplied by the height. You correctly found the rectangle area was 60. Now just cut it in half. Half of 60 is 30. The correct choice is 2, 30 centimeters squared.
Question 88 tests proportions using the unitary method. Intent is finding the cost. If 5 pens cost 40 rupees, what is the cost of 8 such pens? Choices 1, 56 rupees, 2, 64 rupees, 3, 48 rupees, or 4, 72 rupees.
The unitary method is a logic trick where you bring everything down to the value of a single unit before trying to scale back up. The problem asks for the cost of 8 pens, but we can't figure that out until we know what 1 pen costs.
If a bundle of 5 pens costs 40 rupees, we divide the total cost by the quantity.
40 divided by 5 equals 8. 1 single pen costs exactly 8 rupees.
And now that we know the unit cost, scaling up is easy. We want 8 pens. So 8 pens multiplied by 8 rupees per pen gives us 64 rupees. The correct choice is 2, 64 rupees.
We have arrived at the second to last question. Question 89 is about factorization. What are the factors of the expression x squared minus 9? Choices 1, x minus 3 times x minus 3, 2, x plus 3 times x plus 3, 3, x minus 3 times x plus 3, or 4, x minus 9 times x plus 1.
This looks like a specific pattern. I see a squared variable, a minus sign, and a perfect square number.
Your eyes are well trained. You have identified the classic difference of two squares identity. The universal rule is that any expression in the form of a squared minus b squared will always perfectly factor out into the brackets a minus b multiplied by a plus b.
In our problem, a is represented by x.
And since 9 is just 3 squared, b is represented by 3.
So if I just plug x and 3 into that a minus b times a plus b template, I immediately get x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 3.
Right.
Without even doing any hard math, the pattern gives me the answer. The correct choice is 3.
And here we are, the very last challenge on the paper. Question 90, basic integer arithmetic. What is the value of negative 7 plus positive 12? Choices 1, negative 19, 2, positive 5, 3, negative 5, or 4, positive 19.
Adding positive and negative numbers always messes me up. Give me a visual way to solve this.
Visualize a giant number line painted on the floor. You start by standing exactly on the number negative 7. The equation says to add positive 12.
That means you need to take 12 steps in the positive direction, toward the right.
As you walk, the first 7 steps simply get you out of the negative hole and bring you back to 0. But you still have 5 more steps left to take out of your 12. You take those 5 steps past 0, and you land squarely on positive 5.
The math checks out. The difference between 12 and 7 is 5, and since the 12 was positive and larger, the answer stays positive. The correct choice is 2, positive 5.
And with that final step on the number line, you have done it. We have systematically analyzed, decoded, and conquered all 90 questions on this exam paper.
I want you, the listener, to take a moment right now to genuinely acknowledge the incredible intellectual stamina you have just displayed. Processing 90 deep analytical questions in one sitting is a massive, massive achievement.
It truly is. Every single question we just ripped apart. From the biology of root nodules to the brutal history of the East India Company to the rigid logic of algebraic equations is a stepping stone.
These aren't just trivia facts.
They are the keys to passing the NMMS and securing that scholarship.
And I want to leave you with a thought to chew on as you prepare for test day. Right now, your job is to absorb. You are memorizing the history of dead kings, learning the scientific discoveries of old physicists, and mastering mathematical rules written centuries ago.
But consider this.
With the education, the confidence, and the financial independence this scholarship can provide, what comes next?
Precisely. What if you are the one writing the next chapter of history? What if you discover the new scientific laws that rewrite our understanding of physics or solve the impossible math problems that unlock new technologies?
The knowledge you are building right now, today, is merely the foundation.
You aren't just studying the world as it is, you are gathering the tools to shape it into what it will become.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Review those mnemonics we talk about, trust the step-by-step logic you've built, and walk into that exam hall knowing you are fully equipped to tear that paper apart. We wish you immense luck, and we will see you next time.